Hey Froggy friends, Kirostyle here, welcome back to Umineko, Episode 4, Alliance of the Golden Witch. Thanks for joining me here on stream, I really appreciate it. Hey everyone. Hey Hakaze. Hey Sai, good to see you. So, we are getting very close to finishing, well, I was gonna say finishing this novel, but technically finishing the first half of this novel. So we're getting close to finishing Episode 4, which is the last of the question arcs. We're probably gonna do it... We're probably going to finish the actual episode today, but we'll do the tea party on Friday. Now, with the way that this particular episode works, the tea party is more of a... Usually the tea party is like an epilogue, but this time the tea party is more like the actual ending, and then this is all just a lead up to it. Now, in the previous episode, or the previous stream, Kraus, Kyrie, and their group got kidnapped by Kinzo and taken as hostages. And then the cousins were forced to perform like a trial. So Jessica and George did their trial. Jessica fought Ronov, George fought Gop, and unfortunately the two of them were kind of tricked into taking each other out, and now they're both dead. Meanwhile, the hostages escaped, and they did a pretty good job of actually like escaping, but then unfortunately, ultimately in the end, they died, and just before Kyrie died, she was able to phone Badler and tell him to believe in witches and magic. In the meantime, in the present day, Ange is just about to arrive at Rokenjima, which is the final destination of her journey of self-discovery and settlement, so to say. So now we're back in the cousin's room. Badler is sad because he knows that Kyrie just died, and that Jessica and George are probably dead too. Maria is here with him, and she seems to have not very reassuring words for him. So man, I can't believe it's been about 6 months since we started Umineko on stream, and as of now, we are 67 hours into the game. So I think by the time we finish episode 4, we're going to be around 71 hours. So I can't believe we've been going for so long, but I'm excited to get going with the Answers arc later, because I think the Answers arc is much more exciting than the Questions arc, but the Questions arc is important for setting that foundation. Okay, I guess that's enough talking. Let's get reading. I don't know why you're mad, Badler. You don't? Everyone was killed by that damn geezer. Who was saying something crazy about Beatrice's resurrection ceremony or whatever? So by now, 13 people have been offered as sacrifices, and it's already time for Beatrice to revive, right? Sure, that sounds great. I'll find Beatrice too and kill them both. We've survived the ceremony, so we'll receive an invitation to the Golden Land from Beatrice. Over there, all wishes will be granted. If having your family killed is painful, then you just have to resurrect them. That's what I plan to do. I'll revive the really nice real mama, the one that isn't possessed by the Black Witch. So mama will always be with me. There won't be any more overtime or working on days off. She'll always be with me and think only of me. And she'll always fight against fearsome enemies for my sake. There's something wrong with you. Why are you saying something so incomprehensible in a situation like this? Didn't Kyrie just tell you, Badler? Didn't she tell you to believe in the witch? Fuck. There's no time to get in an argument with you over something like this. Now, there are no hostages or anything. Anyone left alive. This weird, shitty ceremony game is already over. Let me do what I want now. Someone might still be alive. Or someone might be hiding. I'll search everywhere, find them, and beat the shit out of them. In a rage, Badler grabbed his hat stand, spear, and flew out of the room. Maria watched him go, looking bored. Even though Beatrice will grant our wishes soon anyway. Stupid Badler. At that time, the phone rang out again. Maria stood up and grabbed the receiver. Hello? Of course, the sound of the phone also reached Badler's ears as he was about to dash out of the house. With a violent forcefulness, he turned around and dashed into the cousin's room. Maria, who was the phone call from? With a terrifying look on his face, Badler yelled at Maria, who was on the phone. You couldn't blame him. Right now, the only humans left alive on the island were himself, Maria, Goda, and Kumasawa. But there was no way those two could call after being locked up in the guarding storehouse. Which meant there was only one person left. It had to be Kinzo. After continuing her pleasant chat with the person on the other end of the phone for a while, Maria slowly turned to face Badler. Then, with an unsettling expression on her face, she laughed. It felt almost as though the person on the other end of the line was chatting about Badler. Maria, who's on the phone? Grandfather? Badler couldn't imagine that this was the case. After all, it was inconceivable that Maria would talk intimately with Kinzo, and that she would be chatting about Badler with that eerie smile on her face. So just what kind of person could be on the phone who could make Maria chat with a smile like that? At that time, in the back of his mind, the words Kiria had spoken to him drifted up. If a witch does appear, there's no need to doubt it. Just believe that it exists. Yeah, Badler just came back. He sure is jumpy. Maria, who's on the phone? Who? Hand it over? Sure. Here, Badler. After getting the consent of the person on the other end, she held the receiver out to Badler. Ugh. Here. Maria held the receiver out for him to take, as though it was perfectly normal. Badler hesitated just a little bit before taking the receiver. After all, by accepting the existence of the person on the other end, he'd have no choice but to acknowledge them. As Kyrie said, there is no longer any need to doubt that they exist. Badler took the receiver. As he did, Maria briskly left the room. Badler, who was a bit scared to find out for sure who was at the other end of the receiver, questioned Maria before taking the call. Hey! Where are you going? To where my test is. I wonder who the next Ushimiya family head will be. Badler or me? Don't go! You'll be killed! I won't be killed. The ceremony's already over. And even if I'm killed, I'll be revived. Whether one of us becomes the head or not, we've already been invited to the Golden Land. See you. Wait, Maria! Badler stretched his hand out to Maria's back as she left, but the cord of the receiver that he was gripping stopped him, just like a chain. He readied himself. Badler put the receiver to his ear. Hello? Congratulations. And I'm fine. And you? Screwed up mocking English filled his ears. It was the voice of a woman he didn't know. Who was it? The inside of his head was starting to freeze up. This musical track, we've heard it before, without the lyrics. It's called Happy Maria. Who was it? What do you mean, who is it, Ushimiya Battler? Normally you'd answer, yes, I'm fine. Right. That takes me back. You do that when in middle school, right? That thing you do in pairs. You're insane. Who are you? Answer me. Say it in English. Isn't that your specialty? Don't fuck with me. Who are you? An underling of that damn geezer? Underling is a mean way to say it, is it not? At least say, prisoner. And Kinzo is my prisoner. Right? That last laugh didn't sound like it was aimed at Badler. It was almost as though Kinzo was right next to the phone, cackling as well. Say your name. Who are you? Who? Yes, right. and you could win a free trip to Hawaii. Finally. It was so long. The days leading up to today were really long. I seriously waited 1,000 years for today, get it? I owe it to you, my big resurrection. Thank you, Kinzo. Just for you, I'll lend an ear to that last I'll take that move back of yours. My, aren't you getting a tad too excited? Couldn't you act a bit more ladylike? Kinzo and Beatrice sat facing each other over the chessboard on the reception table. There was an expensive cheese and snacks to go with drinks. And there were several empty wine bottles lined up. As Beatrice rolled around on the sofa in an unseemly way, she happily held a wine glass in one hand and was probably completely drunk. I'm in the best mood today, so here's a huge bonus for you. Hey, Kinzo, don't use Chateau Petrus as a decoration. It's from 1947, right? If you don't open it today, just when do you plan on opening it? Let's drown ourselves in it and play. Then let's whack each other with the empty bottles. How amusing. You're too excited, and you're letting loose too much. And what about you, Kinzo? Aren't you happy to be reunited with me? It's the living world, the earthly world. Long live my flesh. What are you going on about? Are you saying that you're Beatrice or something? Yes, I am. Thanks to Kinzo's 13-person murder ceremony, I've finally been resurrected. It's nice having a mouth, it's nice having a tongue. How fun it is to be able to talk to you like this. Come to think of it, even though we slapped each other with abuse so many times over and over again, this is the first time we've had a conversation like this on the board during the game, isn't it? How very fresh. Oh, did you hear that pop sound just now? He opened it. He seriously opened the Chateau Petrus. Do you know how much a single bottle costs? Almost as much as a whole 10-kilogram ingot, you see. Cut the crap. Beatrice? The Golden Witch, you say? Give it a rest. Where are you? Is that damn geezer with you too? I'll beat the shit out of you both. Where are you now? Answer me. Oh, so you want to meet me? It's tough being such a popular woman. But please don't try to chat me up when Kinzo's around, okay? This guy gets seriously jealous, so he has a bad temper, you see. But when Kinzo isn't around and we're all alone, I'll love you all you want in secret, okay? You're insane. Kinzo, I've changed my mind. I won't do Maria's test. You go. How fickle. So, are you saying you'll do Badler's test? Nothing wrong with that, right? That guy's so much like a younger you that it makes my heart race. Don't worry, I won't cheat on you. This'll be the only time I'll be alone with him. I'm always alone with you in bed, right? But no more tying me to the bed with a collar, okay? Well then, Battler. I, the Golden Witch Beatrice, will be conducting your test myself. As for the place, yes. Let's make it the front entrance to this mansion. Battler, make sure you try seriously hard in this test to become the successor, okay? I mean, Kinzo's practically dead on his feet. If you become his successor, you'll be the new owner of everything on this island. If it's you, I wouldn't mind becoming all yours, see? Rule over me just like Kinzo did, Kay? The front entrance of the mansion. Perfect. You drunk bastard. I'll sober you up. I'll fix that hangover with a burning punch. Prepare yourself. Adler impulsively slammed the receiver down. There was no need to talk through it anymore. I'll meet her face to face and settle this. It's weird to think of, like, the game piece Battler and the game piece Beatrice talking to each other, and then there's the meta Beatrice and the meta Battler. But the meta Beatrice and the game Beatrice seem to be, like, they're the one and the same, but the meta Battler can't transfer all the information to Game Battler. Sometimes, but sometimes he can't. I don't know. Like, to what extent does Meta Battler have control over Game Battler's actions? Doesn't sound like he does. But then there's some moments where it feels like he has a little bit of influence, or maybe it's just because they have similar personalities, so... Anyways. I took the spear I'd made from the hat stand and went outside without even an umbrella. It's hard to imagine that the young woman calling herself Beatrice is waiting for me alone. I should probably assume that as Goda-san and the rest said, she'll be waiting with supporting troops. Going alone would be too reckless. Goda-san, Kumasawa-san, it's me, Battler. I headed for the guarding storehouse first. I need all the help I can get. Goda-san is big, so I could probably count on him for some firepower. Kumasawa's knowledge and familiarity with the terrain as a senior servant might be a huge weapon. Both of them have master keys and they know more about the mansion than I do. They'll be pretty reliable allies. As I banged on the shutter and called out for them to open it, I remembered that there was nothing they could do from the inside. I would have to get the key back from them before opening the door. I rounded the corner, knocked on the small lattice window there and opened it. Goda-san, Kumasawa Ba-chan. It's Battler. Hey, come on, get up. Hey. The scene in the shed, lit by a dim light bulb, was very strange. Goda-san, Kumasawa-san. From a low ceiling beam hung two thick ropes, and at the ends, Goda-san and Kumasawa-san were hanging by their necks. Hey Harmon, welcome to the stream. Hey Ash, welcome to the stream. It was dim and cramped because of the various pieces of equipment strewn about, so I couldn't make out the situation clearly. But when they showed me not even a tremor after I called out to them, and because of the way the loops around their necks seemed to carry the full weight of their bodies, I could sense no trace of life from them. You've got to be kidding me, right? Why? The shutter was still closed, and there was only a single key which had supposedly been given to Goda-san. So how the culprit opened the shutter and killed both of them inside? No, wait. They weren't necessarily killed. If this is a suicide, that way this closed room makes sense, but I don't know why they would hang themselves and commit suicide. Feebly, I slumped down on the spot. Now, the only humans alive on this island are me, Maria, and that damn geezer. Hey Lork, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. No, there's also that insane woman calling herself Beatrice. There's Maria, who acted like the witch's ally from the beginning, and that geezer, the ringleader who revived the witch, and the witch herself. What the hell? By now, I might as well be the only one on this island. So for those of you just coming in, Battler got a phone call from Beatrice, and then he also went to check on Goda and Kumasawa, and it seems that Goda and Kumasawa hung themselves. Yeah, Beatrice uses phones? That's the most unbelievable part, right? Using my pole as a cane, I feebly rose. Damn, I can't do it like this. I got to avenge everyone. Damn it, it's useless this way. Ugh, it's useless, it's all useless. Damn it. Might as well cry while I can, so that my frail emotions will be squeezed out with my tears. Then I straightened up and gazed into the darkness in the direction of the mansion. Oh shoot, I forgot to turn off my bot from yesterday's stream. Let's do that real quick. There we go. At the entrance to the mansion, the witch is waiting. I'll go and settle this. I'll find the source of this weird, insane night and crush her with my own hands. Yeah, you're gonna backseat my gameplay on Umineko. Amidst the pouring rain, I walked through the rose garden without an umbrella, letting myself get soaked. I could see the arbor on the other side. According to Jessica, it seemed that George Aniki had also been killed. Well, by this point, there's no need to worry about the lives of any hostages. I left the path, aiming for the arbor. Then, I saw George Aniki's weather-beaten corpse. Aniki. Damn. The corpse was in front of the arbor. If he had died under the arbor, he might have at least been spared being beaten down by the rain. In Aniki's forehead was a gaping hole, as though he'd been shot with a gun. Perhaps because the rain had washed everything away, his face wasn't covered in blood, so he looked almost like he was sleeping. However, his clothes were stained a deep red, and there was still signs that a large amount of blood had flowed out. Oh, here, I'll hide myself so you can get a better look at George. How happy I'd be if he was sleeping, or else pretending to be dead. But even though the rain sprayed against Aniki's eyes, they remained open. And the hole in his forehead was no joke. But absolutely real. There had been a faint chance that even Goda-san and Kumasawa-san, hanging by their necks in the guarding shed, had been them playing a bad joke. But that naive possibility had now been completely denied. And as I looked at this corpse, I became completely sure. Just as Goda-san had once said, the enemy had come to take lives like pieces on a chessboard. Ugh, there's no mistake. It seems that old geezer and the witch really don't view our lives as anything more than that. That damn witch said something over the phone. Something about us being on the game board. Perfect. I see. She thinks this is a game. Then if you killed everyone like it was a game, it's okay if I kill you all like it's a game, right? Prepare yourself, Beatrice. The lightning caused the mansion's vast shadow to rise up. Finally, the mansion. As the massive shape came into view, there was no silhouette of any person. It seemed that there weren't any underlings waiting for me in a pack or anything like that. According to Kirie-san, there were massive amounts of attendants with goat heads. At least for now, I couldn't sense a large group of them hiding and staring at me. What's this? Beneath the roof of the entrance, there's something set down. What is this? A box? It looked like the kind of small box that girls often keep trinkets in. Or maybe it was the same kind of extravagant cigar case you'd find in a reception room. Either way, it didn't look like something that should be here. It clearly looked as though I was being told to open it. But for some reason, opening something being offered to me was irritating. However, it didn't look like we'd get anywhere if I didn't open it. Could it be that it's set up with some trap to make it explode when opened? Thinking things like that, forgetting even to come under the overhang, I continued to glare at the box, still beaten down upon by the rain. Then, mixed in with the thunder was some kind of music. It sounded like that. It was the tone of the big clock in the hall announcing 24 o'clock. It was also a sound announcing that this insane day, October 4th, had finally ended, and that the much more incredibly insane day of October 5th had begun. That sound quieted, and I could hear an eerie laugh coming out of nowhere. I got the feeling that the voice was coming from the heavens, and I looked up at the sky. What I saw there was a woman I'd never seen before. No, it's not true that I never saw her before. I saw her once today. Yes, in the portrait inside the mansion. The clothes were different, but that face was just like the witch of the portrait. Who am I kidding? I already know who this person is. Are you Beatrice? Yahoo! Battler! From the second floor balcony, leaning out under an umbrella and waving high-spiritedly, was without a doubt the witch of the portrait, Beatrice. So Beatrice earlier today, when she was phoning Battler, was also drunk, so the way she speaks is going to be a little bit slurred. Was the plan for the boss to take a bird's eye view and let the goat underlings torture me to death? I adjusted my grip on the spear, and imagining goats creeping out of the nearby shadows and the entrance surrounding me, I raised my guard in all directions. Be at ease, there's no one here but you and me, see? No goat furniture, no demon butlers or teacher, not even the demon who's my close friend. And there's none of the gold butterflies that compose my flesh, no magic circles and no summoners as witnesses. Do you know what that means? No clue. Quit babbling. It is true that I've met you several times, even in this world. Almost as though we just missed each other. As you know, this world of humans is filled with a toxin just by your existence and your doubting of me. Almost like solid ramparts strengthening the guard around you, the king. And through multiple games, I have advanced pieces one by one, split them apart and cornered them, leveling your ramparts bit by bit. Yeah, she drunk called Paddler, how cute. Then a faint crack finally opened and I sent a bishop in, so that it could approach right up next to you. But as you know, bishops are pieces with blind spots, and as long as you stay on the black squares, a bishop on black can wield a massive influence. But if you escape just one step to a white square, even if I close in right next to you, I will not be able to touch you. That is why I've progressed through this game by sending in various pieces to prevent you from staying on a white square, forcing you out in front of me, the one who controls the black squares next to you. However, there are now holes opened all up over your ramparts, and I was able to send in not a bishop, but a full queen. Do you know what kind of piece a queen is? A rook plus a bishop. Is that what you're trying to say? Then now, you not only control the black squares that are part of the illusion of the witch, but have been able to eat into the white squares of the human world at will. That is correct. You have been calling the squares with the gold butterflies that are my minions, the illusions of the witch. And you have denied them as unobserved realities, right? I know. For that very reason, I've openly descended to the white squares like this. Do not worry. I'll call plenty of gold butterflies and goats and demons and witches later. If you wish, I'll invite you to the Golden Land. There, any wish can be granted. It's starting to look like someone knocked an ink bottle over the chessboard of this island. I see, a pleasant phrasing. Soon you will be covered in ink as well. You will finally become covered with pitch black and will surely become a black king. You really are pitiful, drowning in a sea of ink right now, aren't you? No, that's wrong. I'll admit that this island is stained completely black from your ink bottle, but there's still a white square left. Where? Right under my feet. Your ink of magic tried to cover the entire island, but it can't cover the ground my feet are standing on. Even if this island seems to be stained pitch black at a glance, I am me. I'm here stepping on a white square. It's strange. Until a second ago I was shivering all over, but now that she's appeared openly right before my eyes like this, my terror has actually lessened. Interesting. Ghosts are most terrifying when you can only sense them. When you can see them and they have a face you can plant your fist into, there's nothing scary about it. However, she definitely isn't an interesting or friendly person. She can kill me instantly by snapping her fingers while rolling around and giggling. Whether we interpret the result of her snapping her fingers as magic flying at me or underlings showing up to shoot me, it doesn't matter. Anyway, whether this is fantasy or mystery, that queen is in a position where she can kill me just by snapping her fingers. I see. So does this mean she's the queen of this island, who reigns over both the white and black squares? Well then, it might be amusing to wait until you catch a cold in all the rain, but it's about time to move to the matter at hand. Can you see the box down there? Your test is inside it. Wait. After all that's happened, I'm not interested in some stupid game about who will become the successor. My game is to take you and that damn geezer and all of you guys who killed everyone and smack them with a giant punch. Or a Jian punch. One of those face crushers. Huh. So, you will fly through the air up to my balcony. Very well, very well. Then, look, come on right now. Here, up here. Damn you, acting so carefree just because you're in a completely safe place. I'm coming over there right now, so prepare yourself and wait for me. No. The door is locked. Of course, the shutters are down for all the windows. My castle isn't so fragile that a single knight like you could break in. I tried opening the door to the entrance anyway, but it really was locked. When I looked around, I noticed the shutters were closed on the windows after all. Normally, those wouldn't be closed. Looks like you prepared for everything. Where's the key? Goda-san and Kumasawa-san probably had master keys, but they were in the closed room of the gardening shed. I can only give up for now. Damn. Guess she's no fool herself. Do you really want to be beside me so much? Alright, if you impressively pass your test, why don't I grant you an audience? If you pass, then you'll become the successor and my new master. My flesh and soul will be yours to do with as you please, for I am no more than the Ushimiya family's furniture. Well, it looks like you want me to take this test no matter what. Okay, I'll give it a shot. If I pass, my first prize will be a punch to your face. Scary, but it's not like I mind being controlled by violence, you see. Grab onto my head, make my face twist in pain, tear me apart like a hawk does, with its talons to its prey, scratch at me and trample upon me. Remind me of Kinzo in his younger days once more. That single time my 1,000-year life. Remind me of that day I was taught the joy of being controlled, surrendering and being reduced to furniture. Damn drunk, we aren't getting anywhere. Ignoring the stupidly smiling witch, I picked up the box. Yes, open it. Inside is a letter. Read it. Yeah, like when she says she's the Ushimiya family's furniture, she means like she belongs to Kinzo, technically. I opened it. There was a faint smell of cigarettes. Apparently, it really had originally been a cigar case, but there was no cigarettes or cigars inside. Instead, there was a Western envelope with a one-winged eagle crest. And when I opened that too, there was a letter inside. I looked up at the witch. She was grinning down on me. It seemed she was looking forward to seeing what kind of reaction I'd have to its contents. Damn, just perfect. Its contents were something like this. Among the 3 mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. 1. Your life. 2. Someone's life. 3. Everyone else's lives. If you do not choose one, all of the above will be lost. What's this? Some pretty creepy stuff's written here. More importantly, the second one's blank, so I don't even know whose life it's supposed to be. Indeed. That second one is where you put the name of the one that the test taker loves the most. For Jessica's test, it was Cannon's name, and for George's test, it was Shannon's. Since they had obvious feelings for certain people, those names were written in beforehand. But I don't know whom you have feelings for, so I don't know whose name to write and left it blank. That's perfect. I love you, Beatrice. I'll stick your name in here. In that case, I'll choose the second choice. Happy now? Quit joking. Quit joking. Hey, please, Balor. Tell me the name of the person you have feelings for. If you don't, then this won't be a test, right? Sorry, I don't have any girl in particular. Even if I did, why the hell would I tell you? In that case, this test will not work for you. What a shame. What a shame. And I was really wondering what kind of woman was your cup of tea. What would you do if I said I liked flat-chested lollies with long black hair? That wouldn't match you at all, right? Lies, you breast sommelier. Blonde and bouncy is best, right? Am I not truly the embodiment of your ideal? If guessing your 3 sizes is a test to become the successor, I'll take it gladly. Ah yes, this was the test to choose the successor, wasn't it? It was so fun chatting with you that I've been getting a bit off topic. And let us begin the test. I will question you to see whether you are qualified to be the successor to the Ushimiya family headship. Answer with care. The witch who had been joking around like she was drunk until a second ago suddenly regained her dignity. She looked as though she truly had stepped out of that majestic portrait. I am the Ushimiya family alchemist, the Golden Witch and the Endless Witch, Beatrice. Do you have the qualifications to inherit the Ushimiya family and all of my gold? That is what I will test. State your name. Ushimiya Battler. When faced with a dignity you wouldn't have imagined from her appearance a short while ago, I answered without any hesitation. And from that, yes, I see. I can tell why she's worthy of calling herself the true queen of this island. Very well, Ushimiya Battler. However, for these 6 years you have thrown away that Ushimiya name, have you not? Why was that? Because I ran out of love for that old bastard. I know. It was because you felt that your father's remarriage disgraced the death of your mother, whom you respected, yes? I see, you have no blood relation to your new mother whatsoever. It's not as though I can't understand why you've been unable to accept that mother. However, no matter whom your father remarried, that wouldn't change the fact that his blood runs in your veins, correct? Hey Vibram, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. What are you trying to say? I can somewhat understand that childishness that led you to resist your father's remarriage, since you wanted him all to yourself. However, was throwing away the Ushimiya name as a means of resistance not a disgrace to your family and blood? You were born and raised Ushimiya, were you not? Do you think you had the right to forget that debt and throw away the Ushimiya name? It's got nothing to do with you. This is between me and Dad. The Ushimiya name does not belong to you and your father alone. That was your childishness. Nothing more than your inability to forgive the fact that your father was stolen away by an unknown woman. Those 6 years during which you threw away the Ushimiya family register were a significant period during which you covered the Ushimiya family in mud. Know the depths of that sin. Well, sorry I'm so childish. However, even though it occurred around the time of the deaths of your grandparents, you did well to return to the Ushimiya register. For that, let us give you a chance to purify that sin yourself. Now is the time to compensate for your sin of 6 years ago. Come, try to remember. Remember your own sin. Remember that, confess and repent. That is the test I shall give you. At that time, a massive thunderclap rang out, making my mind go blank. What do you mean, repent? Are you trying to tell me to apologize? The test has already begun. You may think as you wish. The witch's expression did not look like a person forcing a tough question on someone and sneering at them. She was asking seriously, and he could even sense a quiet determination. Even though the rain fell on Battler, he did not shift his eyes from that gaze. The witch threw her umbrella away. She abandoned herself to the falling rain, so that the rain would fall on her until Battler answered the question. She had chosen to let the rain fall on her as well until he reached an answer. For some reason, Battler understood that, and yet he didn't understand. Well, if you put it that way, I do think I was being childish. All things considered, even Dad getting remarried didn't cancel out the debt I owed him for raising me. I hear that Dad always kept on paying for my living expenses, and that he even wanted to participate in school events. The only reason he couldn't come was because I told Grandpa and Grandma not to let him come no matter what. It's true that I can't argue back if you want to call that my childish resistance. But you know, in that case, who would clear away Mom's, Ushimiya Asumu's regrets? Even though Mom was so devoted to her family and did the very best she could. Actually, I read the most interesting thing the other day, was that, like, obviously the name Kyrie is a term that has to do with, like, Christianity and stuff. Apparently, like, the author, Ryukishi, when he chose the names for Kyrie and Asumu, they're actually both named after Ragnarok Online skills. I didn't really play Ragnarok for that long, but I remember, like, Asumu is named after, like, what, Assumptio or something like that? And then Kyrie is named after a different skill. And the two skills are incompatible with each other. So that's where their names come from, which I thought was quite interesting. Despite that, Dad was cheating with Kyrie-san. He even got her pregnant with Ange. And then along with her birth, he rushed to move them into his register. If that wasn't a betrayal of Mom, then what was it? Who will clear that up? Mom's regrets. What you're saying is also right. Even though the cheating was a fact, the debt I owed for being raised was real too. In that case, they cancel each other out. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with me leaving the family, is there? That's right, I had the right, no, the duty to smack Dad in Mom's place, didn't I? But I didn't do that. I left without saying anything, as though I hadn't been there in the first place, and Dad forgot all about me and started a new family, with Kyrie-san and Ange. Doesn't that settle everything? But since then, 6 years have passed. Time healed the anger. Kyrie-san understood my anger, and even so, she tried to interact with me, even if it meant tearing her heart apart. Ange didn't know anything about the situation, and even though I lived in a separate house, she was raised believing that I was her real big brother and loved me as if it were true. Dad casually said to come home anytime I wanted. It started to feel more and more ridiculous. I thought it was about time for me to cool my head as well, so I said I'd put it all behind me as long as Dad apologized. Then came the day of Grandpa's funeral. Then he really did put his hands on the floor and apologize, looking unbelievably pathetic. Dad did that and seriously bowed his head to me, you see? When I saw that, it felt like it'd be stupid to keep it up any longer. I'm sure Mom thought the same thing. Every time Dad and I fought, Mom would always laugh and mediate for us. "Oh, were you all fighting over something that silly?" is what she'd say. I could feel Mom saying that and laughing. So, though I couldn't actually say I'd forgiven him, I thought it might be okay to start over again from square one. So I decided to wind everything back to how it was 6 years ago. Then I returned to the Ushimiya family register. I'd also cried, raged, and worried for a whole 6 years. It might have been the same for Dad, and for my dead Mom. Maybe even for Kyrie-san and Ange. So we went back to square one, and I returned to being Ushimiya Battler. That's my immediate family's problem. It has nothing to do with the Ushimiya family. You have no right to judge that as a sin, and I have no obligation to show repentance to you. If there were anyone I should have done that for, you would have already killed them. So I won't apologize for anything. I won't repent. That's my answer for this test. Is that all? What? Part of me had fully responded to her provocation, and I'd supposedly vented out all the stuff I'd kept inside my chest, stuff I hadn't wanted to show anyone. That was what the witch had supposedly been expecting, and yet the witch's blank expression didn't change in the slightest. I'd been sure she'd start cackling and guffawing, sneering at my childish, foolish, and shameful past, but to the contrary I could feel a sense of disgust about her, something you could almost call disappointment. What do you mean, is that all? I've exposed everything about me, right? What more could you want? That still isn't enough to clear away your sins. Clear away? What the hell, are you asking me to prostrate myself right here and apologize like Dad did? That's not it. I have no interest in matters concerning your immediate family or your home. Where are we? Rokenjima, the main residence of the Ushimiya family head. Isn't there a sin you ought to remember, fitting for this place? Hey, Starog Streams, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I'm glad you like my model. And I'm glad you like my frog. Thank you, thank you. Oh, and thank you, you like my voice. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you for being a froggy friend. Oh, thanks for calling Kirby, Lord. This is Kirby, my little froggy friend. Say hi, Kirby. Sit back and relax. Thank you so much. Oh, and here's a lip sync. Now he's gonna follow my lips. Hey, Kirby, he's happy to see you. Are you saying that I have another sin? Remember, Ushimiya Battler. Not being able to remember that is your sin. For that reason, I shall forgive you. If you can remember it, I shall forgive you. Remembering that is my test of atonement for you. Even if you tell me to remember. Remember, that's what makes it a sin. Sorry, Bito. I have absolutely no memory of it. Yeah, Kirby reading sounds cute too. He's a happy frog. You make it sound like I caused you some trouble 6 years ago or something. But I supposedly met you for the first time at this family conference. It's true that your legend also existed 6 years ago, but I shouldn't have been acquainted with you. Naturally. On the Rokunjima of 6 years ago, I had not yet materialized. Then what kind of sin are you saying I have? Are you saying I've sinned against you somehow? Don't make me say the same thing twice. I had not materialized 6 years ago. There was no way for me to become acquainted with you. In the world that you are, it was as though I didn't exist. Bito's cold eyes felt as though they were pursuing some kind of sin. At a glance, it felt as though she hated me for something I'd done to her, and she blamed me for it. However, I naturally didn't have a clue, and Bito had said it herself. 6 years ago, there was no link between us. 6 years ago, no person called Beatrice existed for me. Did he pee on Beatrice's portrait or something? If that was the real reason behind the entire series of Umineko, man. At least give me a hint. Does this sin have anything to do with you and me? I had no connection to you 6 years ago. Remove me from your thoughts already. Why do you think it is a sin against me? Your eyes. My eyes. Huh. Because your eyes are whispering at me to apologize, but I have no connection with you 6 years ago, and it looks like you acknowledge that too. Is that true? Is it really not a problem between me and you? I already said it wasn't. No problem between me and you has anything to do with this. But still, your eyes are telling me differently, so I don't even have a clue. Can you say it in red? Can you proclaim that the sin you're telling me to remember isn't something between you and me? Very well. The sin I am now demanding that you remember is not between Ushimiya Battler and Beatrice. Then why are you looking at me with those eyes? I don't know. I am simply gazing at you blankly. If it feels that way to you, perhaps there's something making you feel that way. Yeah. When asking someone what sin they need to apologize because they're angry at you, but they won't tell you, Beatrice is like, you know what you did! What kind of sin are you saying I have? Ushimiya Battler has a sin. And I'm asking you what kind. I'll bet it's just some trivial sin, like hitting someone or tricking someone. Because of your sin, people die. Liar. I've never killed anyone. Then say it. Who did I kill? When? Who? How? Due to your sin, a great many humans of this island die. No one escapes. All die. What? What kind of incomprehensible thing are you saying? Are you saying I killed everyone? I'm a killer? It doesn't mean you carried it out directly. However, because you committed a sin, from an imperfection in the cogs that stretched back a full 6 years, a distortion was created. And tonight, this many lives are lost. You are one of the causes of this tragedy. Quit messing around. I'm the cause? Then what? Are you saying 13 people died because I abandoned the Ushimiya register 6 years ago? Are you saying that 13 people died because I came back to the Ushimiya family after 6 years? Don't fuck with me, give it a rest. For these 6 years, I've been the man farthest from the Ushimiya family, right? How could I have influenced anything in any way? It's not like I came to the family conference because I wanted to, right? I'd returned to my family after 6 years, so to make up for that lost time, I came to Rokonjima reluctantly. It's not like I had some duty to come here today. I came back, and because of that a massacre occurred? Then what? Are you saying that if I hadn't come back, no one would have had to die? Say it in red. Can you say it in red that if I hadn't come back, this massacre crime wouldn't have occurred? There's no way you can say it because you're the culprit for everything. Repeat it. If Ushimiya Battler hadn't returned to Rokonjima, this crime wouldn't have occurred. If you can say it, try saying it. Can't do it, can you? You can't say it. The culprit is you, not me. Don't try to rub that responsibility off onto me. Answer in red. Try to repeat it. You can't. My existence has nothing to do with the crime. Quit saying incomprehensible stuff and trying to confuse me. I began to remember the coldness of the raindrops that kept pounding down. The rain earlier had just hurt, but now I felt a tormenting cold from those raindrops. Is there nothing that you remember? Sorry, I don't even have a clue. Hey, I'm starting to get a little pissed off. If there's something you want to say, then say it. If you have a grudge against me, you just have to say it out loud. Don't do it in such a dirty way, forcing me to remember. I'll ask one more time. Can you remember any sin? No! I can't remember anything. So, he says that he can remember nothing. With this, are your regrets at an end? Indeed. Even a hopeless bet can leave behind regrets if you do not take it. That's enough. The betting itself has meaning. That may be true. In that case, this is the end of my regrets and my game. What will you do? Who knows? I'm not interested at all anymore. Sorry. I wish to leave the game board now. I see. I understand. I will take over for the rest of the game. You may rest. Indeed. All that remains I will finish. You may forget everything and bury your head in your pillow. A feather futon should gently protect you from everything. I'll be counting on you to finish up the rest. Leave it to me. Leave everything else to me and sleep. The witch who had questioned Battler hid herself, and the other witch who had appeared from behind remained. She certainly was identical. The same witch. But her expression was somehow indifferent and ice-cold, completely removed from the one who, despite seeming drunk up until then, had been in high spirits. Yeah, so the Beatrice in the dress is the meta Beatrice. The Beatrice in the tie and the skirt is the Rokonjima Beatrice. Hey, are you listening? Isn't this enough for that test thing? I don't care whether I passed or failed. I won't be satisfied until I can bash your face. Come down here. Or else open this door. The witch did not answer. Her eyes were as ice-cold as Battler's shoulders. She was now clearly a different person since the time she'd first appeared on that balcony. The witch gazed into my eyes and gave 2 small shakes of the head. Even without words, I was able to gather that she was expressing some kind of disappointment. Without saying anything, the witch turned on her heels. After that, only Badler remained, the cold rain still beating down on him. The study was in the middle of a lively party. It seemed that Gop was making fun of Virgilia, having tripped her up in some stupid way. They were spitting Lia 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 and Gap 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 at each other. With this as a sideshow, Kinzo and Ronov had opened a new bottle. Oh, you're back. How were the results of Badler's test? Maria's test got passing marks with no complaints, you see. I've despised her as a little girl. But see why? Why, oh my, not bad, not bad. It seemed that Kinzo was dead drunk. Facing Bito had returned, he laughed with the same level of tension as the time they left for the tests. However, Ronov and Virgilia instantly noticed a change in enthusiasm. Gop also froze her expression and went silent. What is it, Beatrice, my beloved witch? Not enough to drink, not enough on the side? Let's pour it all over a cow or something and roast it whole. Oh, not bad. Ronov, prepare one right away. Beatrice, let's leave the results of Badler's test for later. Why don't we have a toast with spare rib first? Roast yourself whole. What? The witch who had spoken bluntly coldly passed by Kinzo's side as he doubled over laughing in a great mood. Then behind the witch's back, the old summoner's body suddenly went up in flames. Why? As crimson flames spat from his eyes, mouth, nose, every hole in his body, Kinzo rolled around. Even though it was a terrible hellfire, it didn't burn anything except Kinzo. Kinzo didn't have a clue what was going on. Unable to understand why Beatrice, who had been in such a good mood, had suddenly turned so cold, he rolled around. The dancing silhouettes of the witch and the demons, created by that massive rolling torch, looked like a group of excited spectators around a burning at the stake. However, the eyes of the demons who watched over it were indifferent. Isai, welcome to the stream. When Kinzo finally stopped moving, the fire disappeared, leaving a pitch-black corpse. The inside of the room was commanded by the stillness of the sound of the rain. What has happened, milady? I've gotten over my excitement. Clean up those bothersome cinders. Beatrice's expression was unbelievably indifferent. There was an iciness that might easily bring the others to the same fate as Kinzo if they annoyed her. Yes, I will clean it up. Gop made a jet-black pitfall swallow up Kinzo's cinders. If she hadn't carried out that quickly, Gop might also have been burned. You could even feel that thirst for blood. No, a thirst for blood probably isn't the best way to describe it. Just like humans don't have any particular emotion when they step on an ant when they're walking. That was how much, unconsciously and mercilessly, Bito was now filled with a brutal emptiness that wouldn't hesitate at burying a passerby. What is it, Bito? I don't want to answer. No, even answering is too much of a pain to do now. What is it? It isn't like you. Did something happen? Did Badler say something? Ow! Beatrice didn't even answer. It seemed that she even ignored it. But there was a change in Gop. From her feet, a creaking, cracking sound rose like thin ice breaking, and in an instant turned Gop into a glass sculpture. Gop? Disappear for a while. I'm in a very bad mood. Beatrice spoke that in a truly cold voice which could freeze the heart just by hearing it. Certainly. Then please allow us to retire. If you need anything, call at any time. After bowing, Ronov turned into a cloud of gold butterflies and hid himself. After turning Gop, who had been a sculpture, into a cloud of gold butterflies, Virgilia also turned into a cloud, which mixed in with the others and disappeared. In the study made untidy by drinking, Beatrice stood still, alone. Since the time she had returned, her expression hadn't changed in the slightest. However, when she saw the fallen empty wine bottles and scattered cheese plates, her brow furrowed and she looked a bit displeased. And when she whispered, disappear in that instant, the room was cleaned up in a flash as though nothing had happened. The reception chairs were neatly arranged, and there was no wine or cheese. There were no stains or scattered trash either. To the contrary, even the air had frozen over, and enough to make one doubt whether a large number of noisy people really had been in this room until a short while ago. The study had returned to silence. In that silent, frigid study, where even the air had frozen, Beatrice stood still. Then she called, muttering, "Badler, are you there? I've been here for a while. What the hell's going on with you? You've been strange since a short while ago. Do I seem strange? My apologies. Even though you're drinking so happily with that damn geezer, you suddenly burned him up, and your demoness friend is a glass sculpture. When you told the demon butler and your teacher to leave, they disappeared right away at your words. Just how fickle and selfish are you? Badler, I'm done." Done with what? I've grown bored of this. Huh? Well, you were the one who started this game. Now, if you've had enough, that's great for me. So basically, you're giving up. I am not giving up. I am simply ending it. No, I won't even end it. I am just abandoning this game for all eternity. Doesn't that mean you're giving up? Nah. The words "got bored of it and threw it away" fit you perfectly. That is correct. I grew bored of it and am now throwing it away. I don't care what happens next. It can remain abandoned and gather dust as much as you like. What's going on with you? You've been kinda hard to deal with since a short while ago. Are these still the after effects of that incomprehensible test from earlier? If you've got a grudge, all you have to do is say so clearly. You said in red that it has nothing to do with you, but that's gotta be a play on words, right? It's written all over your face. You have a grudge against me. How many times do I have to say I have no grudge against you before you'll understand? At the time you committed your sin, I did not exist. As Bito spoke with an offended expression, her face twisted to look even more displeased. Fickle, inconsistent, moody, temperamental, selfish and simple-minded and cruel. But even so, she hadn't shown an expression as strange as this even once until now. Well, you were the one who provoked me into this game. I'm a bit let down that it wasn't resolved, but feel free to invite me again if you feel like it. But when that happens, allow me to politely refuse, okay? Huh. He intentionally spoke in a mocking tone, but Bito showed no reaction. Badler hung his head and clicked his tongue. We've circled around October 5th, or 4th and 5th over and over again, but I finally just about had enough of this role. This way, the boat will come tomorrow. That's right, and the seagulls will return to the harbor. I'll finally be able to hear Rokenjima's signature nya nya cries. After all, maybe because of the weather, they weren't there at all when I came to the island. When the seagulls cry, everything will end, I guess. All done. The end. What a relief. Exactly what is it that you're misunderstanding? Huh? What'd you say? I said that nothing would end. With this, everything will be abandoned. The game will be forgotten, and the pieces on the board will be abandoned as they lay. There will be no advancing or returning, no taking and being taken. No victory, no defeat, not even a tie. Just abandoned. Doesn't that mean it's over? Wrong. On my turn, the game will stop for all eternity. Your turn will not come. So there will be no victory, nor defeat, nor a tie. In the past, I couldn't let you do that. After all, one of my goals was winning against you. However, I've lost interest. So there is no longer any point in making moves any longer. What do you mean by my turn not coming? I thought that Bito getting tired of the game meant I'd be released, and I'd be able to escape Rokenjima. But for some reason, Bito's repeated words about the difference between abandoning the game and settling it caught my attention. Just what is she saying? And why in the bad mood? At that time, I suddenly heard a voice from behind me. When I turned around, there was someone I thought I might or might not remember from somewhere. A mysterious girl with no light in her eyes was standing there. What this kid's saying goes something like this. She means putting the lid on this game and leaving the pieces as they are. The game will be locked away for all eternity without ending. The only way for you to return to your original world is to win against Bito. So if Bito abandons the game, get it? Suddenly, in a different place was a girl wearing a bright pink dress. I had a feeling I'd met her somewhere too, but I couldn't remember. More important was the meaning of her words. If the game is abandoned, then... Huh? That's right. A match won't be resolved until unless enemies and allies meet. It would mean that you'll never be able to win and escape from this world for all eternity. What it comes down to, I guess, is something like taking the key to the cage you're locked in, fastening it to the collar of a pigeon or something and letting it fly. This isn't funny, Bito. We didn't come this far to watch such a boring game. Calling it a day like this is no joke. I agree with Lambda. I came here to make Battler win, and to make you writhe in defeat. I still haven't achieved that goal. I won't stand for you abandoning the game at a time like this and running away. I acknowledge that it would mean the curtain call for a game that disappoints you ladies. However, I, the host of this tea party, am fickle. Once it's lost its fun, I have no way of entertaining. I believe that's been my witch-like way of doing things from the very beginning. There are no problems, yes. Certainly. I won't go against your creed. I won't accept it. Quit fooling around. How much do you think I've supported you? You think I'd be okay with that after all this preparation? Don't mess with me. I am saying that I have tired of it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's not gonna fly. We'll have you continue this game. You want to win against Battler, right? You want to win and make him surrender, right? You're almost there, aren't you? Am I right? But don't ask me that. But I have an opinion too. Let me say it. What? This is a fight you picked. I'm prepared to settle this once and for all. I've come close to surrendering many times, but I've never had any intention of escaping partway through, leaving the match undecided. Since I'm here showing the will to fight, you better not run away, Beatrice. I agree. Getting Battler involved and then leaving without giving him victory or defeat is just too irresponsible. Suddenly, even Gretel was there, and everyone was calling Bito irresponsible. Huh. It seems I'm mostly being called irresponsible because Battler will, as my opponent, be stuck. In that case, Battler, will you step down from being an opponent, as I shall? That way, I will have done nothing worthy of criticism. If I step down, will I be able to leave Rokkenjima? There's no chance you'll be able to leave. Just be covered in dust and let it pile up on your shoulders. Quit fooling around. What an irresponsible person. You've killed such a large number of people. On top of that, using a witch's power, you've done it over and over. Killing in gruesome ways. I definitely won't let you escape without taking responsibility. Responsibility? Huh, what is it I should do to take the so-called responsibility? Fight until a resolution is reached. Battler will sit in the chair across from you, never giving up and fighting until he beats you. So you two fight until you're defeated. If you don't like that, try and defeat Battler. I won't forgive you if you leave everything unresolved and abandon Battler in this chair, locking him up and never letting him return. I won't forgive you. Gretel. To be perfectly honest, I didn't really understand from what standpoint Gretel was trying to save me, but in her words, I could feel a strong determination to save me from this insane game world no matter what. So I responded in kind. Bito, face me. I am here, across from you in the seat of your rival. Get it? As long as I continue to sit here, I won't allow you to escape. So don't escape. Fight. Is this a fight? Isn't this a fight you started? You did all that crap over and over, making a complete mess of things. How could I let you end it because you're tired after all this time? I am your opponent. As long as I'm here, I won't let you escape. Are you listening, you irresponsible witch? Try saying something. After I yelled at her, Bito went silent for a while. Whether my words had reached her or whether she was thinking about something completely different, I couldn't tell. But for a while, she was silent, gazing at me with an expression I could read no emotion from. And when she realized that I noticed, she averted her gaze. Then she turned her back to me and said this. So, since Battler will not quit as my opponent, the ladies are saying that my abandonment of this game will not be acknowledged. In that case, let's ask. Let's see if the man over there was qualified to be my opponent in the first place. Qualified? Probably has something to do with that test or whatever just now. What are you planning to do? Don't tell me you're... I will now determine whether or not you are qualified to be my opponent. Ready, Battler? If those qualifications are acknowledged, I will stay in my seat and continue the game. And I shall promise to fight for all eternity until the outcome is decided. Huh. I was ready for that from the beginning. However, if you are not qualified, you must disappear. If the opponent disappears, there is no game. I can leave this place openly. Are the ladies satisfied? Interruptions will not be necessary. Go ahead. Do as you like. Battler? You make sure you answer well. The very reason I'm here is because I'm qualified, right? Huh. There's nothing to be scared of. You couldn't be. Gretel grew suddenly pale. I thought her to be the calm, collected type, so that expression surprised me. Well then, Battler. I shall have you repeat it in red. You're telling me to repeat something? Huh. Damn you, stealing my signature move. But can I use the red truth too? How? If you wish for it to be that way, you can do it. It's easy. My name is Ushimiya Battler. Whoa, pretty cool. Stop it! I know what you're after. But stop that! He's... When Gretel yelled, Bito glared at her. Then her form was wiped away in an instant. Shut up. Leave your seat for a while. You too, ladies. If you interfere, I will not hold back. We won't get in the way. Go ahead. Do as you like. Baron, this is bad! She's trying to race Battler! What's that? What's she planning? Well then, I shall question your qualifications. Interesting. Attack and defense are reversed from a normal game. This is a very precious experience coming at the very, very end. Ready? Listen carefully. I will speak with the red first. I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. And I opened this game in order to fight Ushimiya Kinzo's grandchild, Ushimiya Battler. I know that. So what? Repeat it. Ushimiya Battler's mother is Ushimiya Asumu. What? Why is mom's name popping up all of a sudden? I do not require chatter, just repeat it in red. Bito urged me with the same indifferent tone. But I don't have a clue what she's trying to do. I have absolutely nothing to feel guilty for that would trouble me if thrown in my face, and there's nothing that I'm hiding. There's nothing that could trouble me by demanding that I repeat it. So why do something like this? Sure, I'll repeat it. Ushimiya Battler's mother is Ushimiya Asumu. The red sure is convenient. No need to bother myself with bringing a copy of the family register. Idle chatter is unnecessary. Let's continue. Your name is Ushimiya Battler. Sure. My name is Ushimiya Battler. It was from Ushimiya Asumu that Ushimiya Battler was born. It was from Ushimiya Asumu that Ushimiya Battler was born. It was from Ushimiya Asumu that you were born. It was from Ushimiya... At that time, my throat suddenly closed. I was rapidly assaulted with a choking suffocation. What's going on? One more time. It was from Ushimiya Sumu that I was born. Damn. It was from Ushimiya Asumu that I was born. What the hell? Even though I was doing it so easily a second ago, I suddenly stopped being able to get the red to work. Do you refuse to repeat it? I'm not refusing anything. It's not working for some reason. It was from Ushimiya Sumu that I was born. Why? Damn it, why can't I use the red? What the hell? Yeah. My mom is Ushimiya Sumu, right? Why can't I say that fact in red? What's going on? This is... If you try to forcefully speak red that cannot be spoken, you choke. There is no need to strain yourself. Allow me to use the aforementioned fact to press you in blue. Do you remember? The blue is used to proclaim a theory for the opponent to deny. They are then burdened with the responsibility of denying that in red, and if they do not, it becomes your victory. Then let us begin. Due to my previous demand to repeat and your subsequent refusal, I proclaim you are not qualified to be my opponent. After all, Beatrice opened this game in order to fight with Ushimiya Kinzo's grandchild, Ushimiya Badler. This gave you the responsibility as my opponent to declare in red that you are Ushimiya Kinzo's grandchild, Ushimiya Badler. You refused to repeat that. This means the loss of your qualifications. Deny something about that in red. Quickly! Sure. I am Ushimiya Badler. Because I can say that in red, I should be your opponent. It may be a fact that you have the name Ushimiya Badler. However, people's names are not exclusive. There is a possibility that multiple humans have the name Ushimiya Badler. In short, this is what it means. You are a different person with the same first and last names as Ushimiya Asumu's son, Ushimiya Badler. What you say? Don't be so stupid. I'm Mom's child. Ushimiya Asumu's child. It was from Ushimiya Asumu that... Damn! Why can't I say that I was born from my mom? How could something so stupid be true? No need to suffer. I will not toy with you. This is checkmate. You are not Ushimiya Asumu's son. What? You're... kidding me. Who are you? What person calling themselves Ushimiya Badler? Wait a second! I am Ushimiya Badler. It was from Ushimiya Asumu that I was born, and I'm Dad and Mom's son. No, there is no way that you're my opponent, Ushimiya Badler, with this as proof. Yeah, that's very perceptive, chat. He can be Kinzo's grandson without being Asumu's son. There's a lot of wordplay going on here. Proof, you say? You do not know of that sin 6 years ago. That's... No, the true Ushimiya Badler would not have committed a sin. But a sin did occur in the end. That span of 6 years became a blank space, and a man who knew nothing of that time took on the name Ushimiya Badler and appeared on Rokunjima. That truth goes like this. 6 years ago, my opponent, the true Ushimiya Badler, was already dead. You were part of a plot by Rudolph, having something to do with the distribution of the inheritance. Hey, Seabiasm! Welcome to the stream! Thank you so much for following me. Thanks for being a froggy friend. A body double set up in Ushimiya Badler's place. How could something that stupid be true? That's so ridiculous. Badler, get a hold of yourself! Well, if he can't counter back, there's nothing more to do. Badler did not possess the qualification. That's how it is. Are you okay with that, Burn? If you accept that, you'll lose too, right? Won't you win? Why are you taking Badler's side? Yeah. What a shame, Badler. What a real shame that you didn't have the qualifications to be Beatrice's opponent. I was careless myself, betting on an unqualified piece. It's my utter defeat, Beatrice. There is no victory or defeat. The opponent will simply disappear. Or perhaps I should say that he was never there to begin with. But then, who am I? Am I not Dad and Mom's kid? Who am I? What am I? If I'm not Mom's kid, then what? Are you saying I'm a kid they picked up somewhere like a stray cat? If that is the case, it would mean that you do not share Kinzo's blood. Either way, you are not qualified to compete in this game. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. Enough. From the very beginning, I was faintly aware of the possibility that you weren't Ushimi Badler. So I had to question you. I had to ask about something the real Badler would have known. What a shame. I even bet on the 1 in a quadrillion chance of a miracle that you might really be Ushimi Badler. But it seems you really are a different person, with the same first and last names. Bit by bit, Badler's form began to be clouded in darkness. No, maybe it was the other way around. The whole world was clouded in darkness, leaving only Badler. Badler was down on all fours, hanging his head and repeatedly questioning himself. However, he was not given an answer. In the world stained with darkness, Beetle spoke something and Lambda Delta ran up to him, yelling something very quickly, but it already seemed very far away, and it didn't reach Badler's ears. Then he, not knowing who he himself was, erased himself. Hey Mevox, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Badler! Now my opponent has disappeared. Well then, if you'll excuse me. And ladies, you should get ready for your journey. No more festivities have been prepared for in my territory. It was good seeing you. Goodbye. Oh, you're excited for me to play Resident Evil 4 next week? I'm excited too. I'm looking forward to it. Without saying anything more, she clouded her own form in darkness as well and disappeared. Are you okay with this? Badler disappeared, right? I know how much you hate losing. Are you really okay with this? Weren't you betting on my defeat? Good for you, then. Congratulations, Lambda. Let's meet again in some other world, okay? Well, this is a world of endless fragments. The chances of us having some connection again somewhere are probably less than 1 in quadrillion. Anyway, it was fun. Bye-bye. Wait up, Burn! Chasing after Burn Castell, who had disappeared first, Lambda Delta disappeared as well. After that, everyone was gone, and the study was now completely empty. It returned to silence, almost as though no one had been there from the outset. No one was here in the first place. The silent study spoke that wordlessly, and the sound of the wind and rain began to fill the room bit by bit. In a world where everything had sunk into darkness, Vito questioned herself. As I thought from the very beginning, magic should only have been used within Mariage Sorcière. Seems so. I also thought that with Ange. The Witches' Alliance is you and I. It started with those two. Including other people was our first mistake. It's just so fun. We want to add someone close to us into that circle. And we wish that the Witches' Alliance would get really large. That everyone would be able to use fun magic together and that we'd all be happy. However, only you and I were able to understand magic, after all. We are the only two witches in this world who were brought together by a miracle. And now, as long as I have Bito, I don't need anyone else. Me too. As long as you are here, I don't need anyone else anymore. In the very first moment that Marriage Sorcière was formed, it was already complete. That is so. That is truly so. It was once a witch's alliance to make everyone happy together with magic. I wonder when it got this screwed up. What did I want to do when I started this game? I can't really remember even that. No, I may remember, but that's a feeling I now wish to throw away to the far side of oblivion. It's okay. Why not forget everything? Let's have a Marriage Sorcière for just the two of us. We'll acknowledge each other, and no one will hurt us, so we won't be hurt. We won't cry. Let's forget everything. Hey, Bito. We are eternal. Maria. Ugh. Ah yes, fun magic for Maria, like when she tortured her mother. Yeah, fun magic. The world 12 years later, October 1998. Amakusa, could you turn that off? Whoops, my bad. You don't like that? Mzaki? Mzaki's the name of one of the composers of the game. I'm just not in the mood. Amakusa turned the radio off. The world of cheery sounds was immediately swallowed up by the roar of the sea, and blotted out by the ocean's gray. The ocean's gray waves? Can you see it? Over there, where the harbor was at the time. Boat captain pointed, but I couldn't really recall that scene of 12 years ago. I thought I'd surely be able to immediately remember how things had been at the time, but no memories came back to me. After that incident, the island was sealed off and left to the wild. Yeah, cue the groans of increasing discomfort. I couldn't satisfy myself with the thought that this was just inevitable, and it felt sad and painful for some reason. Ah, but I at least remember one thing. You might say it'd probably be the same anywhere on the sea, but I remember at least one thing. Cries of the seagulls. I do remember those. When I was young, I rarely went to the ocean, so everything that symbolized the ocean meant Rokenjima and a family gathering to me. In short, it was a symbol for the happiness of going out with my family. However, at this point in time, it seems doubtful whether that even was happiness. In my younger days, the trip had felt like a relaxed family vacation, but considering my parents' situation at the time, it was surely a very difficult trip to handle, with the distribution of the inheritance filling the place with the smell of gunpowder. I can remember giggling all over the place, completely ignorant of my parents' feelings. Rokujima, huh? The place of all beginnings, and the end of the line for all journeys. Amakusa, in an attempt to speak for my innermost feelings, tried to sound cool. The boat slowly rounded the island. I hoped that viewing it at a different angle might bring back my memories of the island's silhouette at the time just a little. But in the end, even when that inlet was hidden completely by cliffs, I wasn't able to remember anything. Captain, please tell me about that other harbor you mentioned. Sure, Rokujima supposedly has only one harbor, but that's only for public appearances. On the back of the island, there's another hidden harbor. Like Rokujima itself, it has a second face which no one knows about. Rokujima is an island owned by the Ushimiya family, but it has another face as an island owned by Kinzo-san personally. So this island has 2 harbors and 2 mansions. He surely spent a lot just to keep a mistress. Who knew about this other harbor? Very few. Kinzo-san, the butler Genji-san, those of us involved with the boats, and a very small number of the oldest servants. Both the previous owner of the Nanjo clinic and that Kumasawa Ba-san knew. Naming them off like this makes it sound like there were quite a few, but Basically, there was a small number of people who knew. Please tell me about that other mansion. I was only told that there was a mansion called Kuadorian. Since I wasn't allowed to leave the boat, I never saw it, not even once. So it was far enough away that you couldn't see it from the harbor. I don't know, but it was a hidden mansion after all. It was probably built where you couldn't see it from the outside. Anyway, Kuadorian was the biggest secret of that island. There's a theory that Beatrice lived in Kuadorian, or else was confined there. What do you think, Captain? Yeah, there's another mansion on the island called Kuadorian. That is the same mansion where young Rosa encountered Beatrice in episode 3. In episode 3, that's where young Rosa encountered Beatrice. It's the same mansion where Kraus and them were locked up underneath, and it's been mentioned a couple times. It's also where they found Ava after she survived the massacre. I did sometimes carry miscellaneous goods to Kuadorian, and that included a lot of stuff that only women would use, and expensive stuff at that. I'm also convinced that theory is true. So does that mean you never saw Beatrice directly, Captain? Nope. Came around and went for about 20 years, I never saw her once. 20 years? Ooh, that means she was at least 20 plus. Looks like she wasn't some mademoiselle. One day, bang! All coming and going to and from Kuadorian suddenly stopped. That was about 30 years ago. So around Showa 43 or 1968, I think. Bang. You mean suddenly? We came to the hidden side on a set schedule to carry food and trash back and forth. Ah, right, the hidden side's what we call the harbor linked to Kuadorian. I get it. So then? One day, we got an urgent message from Genji-san. He said that until we heard differently, there was no need for us to go to the hidden side anymore. And did you hear differently? Not really. Long story short, one day I was suddenly told that they wouldn't need regular service to the hidden side anymore, and that I didn't have to take food there either. At first I thought I was being fired, but I quickly figured it out. Going by the reactions of the servants who knew of Kuadorian, I managed to guess somehow. Beatrice died, and there was no longer any need to take food or people to care for her. That's what I think. From that point on, I was never told to take a boat to the hidden side. However, after that, Genji-san came to see me face to face and got pushy, strongly urging me to never speak of anything related to the hidden side until I died. So if that hidden mansion was abandoned for 20 whole years, why was Aunt Ava there? On that day 12 years ago, Ushime Ava somehow escaped harm alone, in a hidden mansion 2 kilometers away from the mansion. Why was she in a hidden mansion that had been forgotten for 20 years? I saw the talk shows. Even I don't have a clue what happened. Not once did I guide Ava-san to the hidden side. I have no idea how or why she knew about it, or reached Kuadorian. I wonder if it was possible to reach this hidden Kuadorian by land. If, as we heard, the forest was dense and uncultivated, I seriously doubt a well-dressed lady person will be able to bush crash it. So what about by sea? Maybe there was a motorboat or something. Are you kidding me? That 2-nighter typhoon was awful. No way you could have used a boat. So what if there was an underground passage or something between the mansion and Kuadorian? Wouldn't it have been a pain to have to charter a boat each time you want to visit his mistress's house? You mean a tunnel long enough to connect mansions on opposite sides of a 2-kilometer island like Rokujima? Well, I'd like to laugh at the thought, but this rich guy made a whole hidden mansion for his mistress. Guess I can't deny the possibility. What do you think, Captain? I'm a man of the sea. I don't know about holes. But the Japanese military dug a 25-kilometer tunnel on Iojima. Wouldn't surprise me if that Kinzo-san could dig at least 2 kilometers. There really is something wrong with this island. Even now, not one of us really knows about a thing. The boat reached the shore. They would have to walk a short ways to reach the mansion. I'll wait here. The mansion's that way. The path from back then's probably still there, but it's bet it's covered with plants. Make sure you don't get lost. Right, let's go. Thanks for everything, Amakusa. You wait here too. Well, I had a feeling you'd say that. I'm just delivering something. It'll be troublesome for them if you come too. I imagine your toxin is strong. Toxin? Oh. I'll be back soon. Today our main goal is Kuodorian. After I deliver this, I'll come right back. Ange put on her knapsack, holding the flowers she would offer. Give her some space, young'un. See you soon, little lady. Your family's waiting for you. I'd never been on a road like this, but I had no trouble finding my way. If I walked straight ahead, it would probably guide me to the final destination for everything. It was true that the vegetation was incredibly thick, and if I didn't pay attention, I would lose track of the path. But the road that was left was much clearer than I'd guessed it would be. Still, that didn't change the fact that it was a bad road. Contrary to the distance shown on the map, I was forced to walk a long way. If you didn't catch that, or from earlier, Ange is going to there so that she could deliver flowers to Maria and Badler's grave. Or, like, a makeshift grave, I guess. And hopefully discover the truth behind the murders, but... The forest was deep and dark. At the time, I'd been threatened into staying away from the forest because a witch lived there. Of course, that fear is gone now, but I feel it. Because I was me, I could feel the presence like an aura of the Golden Witch Beatrice. Here and there were massive fallen lumps of rock along with overgrown trees and ivy, and the voices of birds and bugs. Yeah, I feel it. I feel that the witch is here. Ahead, an ivy-covered construction site fence and warning signs stood. No entry, Tokyo Metropolis. That was written on it. Yeah, that's right. When you think Tokyo, you tend to think of a city, but Rokkenjima is also located within the Tokyo Metropolis. Apologizing to the sign for my rude mistake, I climbed the fence. When I crossed the steep slope beyond that, my field of vision rapidly expanded, and a fresh sea breeze blew through my hair. It was like the top of a little hill. Below me was a vast view of the island. I could only see desolated forest and rock walls spread out below me. I realized that the mansion was probably somewhere around there. The steep downward slope beyond this hill had probably been caused by earth and rocks collapsing from 12 years of wind and rain. It had become a slant filled with crags you might even call gentle cliffs, and it would be easy to tumble down, though it looked like climbing back would be pretty difficult. In any event, it seemed that proceeding any further would be impossible. If I continued any further, I wouldn't be able to return. In other words, this is the border. This is 1986 and 1998. And it is that day and today, the boundary between this world and Nirvana. This spot is this journey's final destination, it seems. As the strong winds blew Mamon's and Sakutaro's hair, they looked down from the hilltop. From here, I can't really tell. Where's the mansion? Let's get closer. Uyu, that's impossible. We won't be able to come back. We won't be able to come back. Is that it? I see. This is 1998, and I am the Ushimi Ange who's been left all alone. At first, this was a journey to die, but not anymore. It's become a journey to accomplish something. Yeah, so I'm sorry, you two. Although, as I was back then on that day, I would have gone down that cliff without any hesitation. Come on, this is pretty lame for the skyscraper jumping Ushimi Ange. Sorry. This place is as good as any. After all, you can feel the wind of that day. Was the wind really like this? Yeah. Very soon they will come back. Everyone. Sakutaro said it as though it was a complete natural. Oh, that was Sakutaro talking. I should have realized from the brackets. And I believed it. Dad. Mom. Oni-chan. All of my relatives and those fun servants. And Maria One-chan. It's me. It's Ange. I've come back. When I started my journey to expose the past of 12 years ago, my goal had been abstract and I hadn't understood. But now I have no doubts. This journey was induced by several thoughts and fates over 12 years. A journey to reach an end for me, Ushimiya Ange. And a journey reach an end as the last witch of Mariage Sorcière. I came here as the last daughter of the Ushimiya family, and as the last witch. Dad, Mom, Oni-chan. Sorry, let me greet Maria One-chan first. A strong tailwind urged me on. That tailwind took just my soul out from inside my body to the vast forest beneath me. And though from here on I couldn't see, I believed that it flew me to the mansion on that day to where everyone was, to where Maria One-chan was. And so, even though my body was on the top of a hill, a strong wind blowing against me, my soul was now certainly dancing through that sky. The vast, vast sky of Rokkenjima. Below me was the green of many trees. But I understood. I can comprehend the presences of my family and relatives, and all the servants. And Maria One-chan too. I can even comprehend Maria One-chan as a witch. It was vast, more so than any vast space I'd imagined up until now. Maria One-chan, can you hear me? Listen. Ange called to the Maria of that day. She told her of the long journey she'd undergone, of her long-delayed realization of just how much she'd wounded Maria in her youth. She understood magic, and now understood everything about the world Maria had wanted to show her. It was very warm, overflowing with love and happiness. She wanted to become even happier by sharing that world. But I trampled it. So now I finally understand everything. I understand magic. Our magic is surely very faint, and fills the space beside us. But it isn't something that anyone can see with their eyes. Magic is... yes, I can say it clearly. Without love, it cannot be seen. Sorry, One-chan. I've already been excommunicated from the Alliance of Witches, but now I understand how wonderful it is. And I know that after the day I wounded you, Mariage Sorcière was transfigured into something different from what you truly desired. Even the magic that spat anger by cursing people was probably important to One-chan in those days. One-chan's environment was sad enough to permit that. Now, those sad days are over. So, let's return One-chan's Alliance of Witches back to the original Mariage Sorcière. The grimoire was in my hands before I realized it. The strong winds were rapidly blowing its pages one after another. That world had been kind in the beginning. How could you give birth to magic that would make candy fall from the sky? How could you give birth to magic that would make tomorrow's dinner creme croquette? How could you give birth to magic that would make the weather good when you went out the next day making your whole day fun? New spells of happiness were created one after another, coloring her world with kindness. Those days were flipped through one after another, and months began to flash by. The pages with drawings that had once been colorful gradually began to change into the color of black ink. Eerie magic circles and demon summonings. Evil magic for harming people. How could you give birth to magic that would cause the class bully to catch a cold? How could you give birth to magic that would seriously injure someone in class so that they died? How could you give birth to magic that would cause a bus loaded with all the bullies to fall off a cliff? Malicious spells were created one after another, burying the pages and her heart. Because I hurt One-chan, Mariage Sorcière ended up like this. One-chan isn't a black evil witch. She was a white, pure, innocent, kind witch. I'll return it to how it was. I'll bring back the original Maria One-chan. The one who scattered magic to make people happy across the entire world. That's the reason I came here. I was guided by fate. Maria One-chan, can you hear me? Show yourself before me. That voice rode an even stronger wind and was sent 12 years into the past. Then, the wind gradually ceased, and silence fell. Crunch, crunch. I could hear the sound of gravel being stepped on. I listened to those footsteps, surprised at this miracle. Without a doubt, those were Maria One-chan's footsteps. Maria One-chan! Oh, look at how happy she looks. It's Kasumi. Looks like I finally found you, eh, Ange-chan? Before I knew it, Aunt Kasumi in her black suits, a total of 7 people who didn't resemble Murione-chan in the slightest, were standing there surrounding me. And it felt like my voice had been just about to reach Murione-chan too. Because of these guys' toxin, that magic was cut off. Ange clicked her tongue at that, but Kasumi probably didn't hear it that way. Are those flowers for your deceased family? How admirable. You're going to throw them, right? Go ahead. We'll wait that long. Just what are you waiting for? But Ange could more or less guess. Kasumi is just Maria standing on top of Sakataro in a kimono and a wig. The way the black suits unnaturally stuck their hands into their pockets clearly brought to mind the likelihood that they had been handguns. This is a deserted island. There could be no more convenient place to dispose of someone. I have absolutely no interest in the family matters of the Sumadera family, but if I die, all that wealth will go to them. Unlike me, they're probably very interested and concerned about this matter. Of course, it seems that if the massive amounts of stock I own suddenly go to them, it'll be pretty bad for the Ushimiya group as well. And they're apparently having a secret feud, fighting over me all by themselves. That's probably why President Okanogi gave me Amakusa as a guard. Having Amakusa wait on the boat was a regrettable mistake. Aunt Kasumi, how long have you been waiting for this ambush? Since early morning. Thanks to that, I'm completely tired of waiting. After all, there are no cafes or dressing rooms here. No toilets either, so I guess you had to elegantly drop a load behind a tree. A lady with half Sumadera blood flowing through her veins will not use such filthy words. You really are Sumadera Kirie's child. Not a trace of grace. She grabbed me by the hair and forced my face up to hers, and then spat at me. My words might be filthy, but they're no worse than her spit. Every time you talk to me, Aunt Kasumi, it's always about Mom. Am I really that much like my mother? Yes, you are. That impertinent gaze. Your mouth and nose are the same too. Freewheeling and irresponsible. You thought nothing of the long history and tradition of the Sumadera family and selfishly flew out of the house. Thanks to that, my entire life has been devoted to cleaning up your mess. I guess your life really has been covered with crap. When I was slapped on the cheek, my ear was smashed, and for an instant my head rang. My hair was pulled, spinning me around, and I fell to the ground. In a flash, the ground was kicked and I was struck with sand. Yes, you truly are like Nesan. That gaze like you're mocking me somehow. Yes, I remember so many things. You're a sad person. I'll bet that since you were young, you always got compared to Mom and scorned. And for your entire life, you'll never be released from that wretchedness. A little girl like you couldn't possibly understand. You see, your mother's a loser who threw everything away and ran away from the Sumadera family, right? Do you know how much trouble I went through because of that loser? Any trouble you went through has nothing to do with me. Sorry, but what am I supposed to do about something that happened before I was born? When will your life begin? It never will. For all eternity, you'll always continue to be sneered at by my dead mother until you die. If only you just die. Why are you living? You little piss! You all! Make her some tea! Huh. Leave it to us. You big-mouth shitty brat. Let us teach you a little lesson. The black suits dashed up to me, violently grabbed me by the nape of the neck and dragged me down. Do whatever you want to her until my break is over. Teach my cute niece her place. Sumadera Kasumi. When I think about it, she was a pitiable person. To the outside world, women of the Sumadera family were trained to be in a position that supported and deferred to men. But in actuality, strong leadership was required from them, so they could manage all the common people. The role demanded of them, really, was that of a female commander, like a literal reading of the word Okami. Managing the Sumadera family, with all its traditions, was not something that could be accomplished with just an ordinary level of dignity. It was an unimaginably heavy responsibility. Normally this would have been demanded of Kirie. Kirie had undergone that harsh training, and Kasumi, as the younger sister, should have been able to take it easy. No, on the contrary, she lived like a lazy, selfish, and affluent princess, sneering at Kirie, who'd been given the heavy responsibility. However, Kirie had suddenly been disinherited. She had refused the fiancé her parents had arranged, and had gotten pregnant by her lover, Ushimiya Rudolph. From the Sumadera's perspective, even though the Ushimiya family held a vast fortune, it was a low-level family that had already collapsed. And to become not even a legal wife, but a mistress to the second son of that family, normally a daughter of the main family, would be shown no mercy for such dishonor. They would wrap her up in a mat, place a pole on end, and throw her either into the Pacific Ocean if the pole fell to the right, or the Sea of Japan if it fell to the left. But Kirie's punishment ended with disinheritance, an unbelievably warm-hearted decision. After that, the Sumadera family began receiving favorable treatment from a section of the Ushimiya group. There must have been some kind of backroom deal. In other words, Kirie openly left the Sumadera family under the pretense of gaining financial support from the Ushimiya family. Kasumi had watched it happen in shock. No, she even disparaged her dishonorable sister as a loser. But eventually, she realized the heavy responsibilities Kirie had borne with would be passed on to her, and then for the first time she saw that she'd been outwitted. Because of your mother, my life was ruined. No, you could even say she killed me once. On that day, I was killed once and thrown into a hellish life. Isn't that what you get for making light of life until then? Don't you ever stop talking, girl. Yeah. The black suit punched me in the gut and I doubled over. Oh, that was a guy talking. But I was quickly grabbed by the nape of the neck and made to stand up again. Kasumi cold-heartedly looked down at me, smoking a cigarette. The painful days after Kirie had left were floating through her mind. Until then, she had been allowed to be a simple lady, freewheeling and naive. Only the older sister, Kirie, had been harshly trained, and she, the younger sister, had been able to live as nothing more than a princess. Then suddenly everything got flipped over, and her life came crashing down. My life, lifestyle, and the way I live were all stolen from me. Do you know how much I was derided by those relatives who didn't know the details, all because of my sister's dishonor? I detested her. I detested your mother enough to make me spit blood. Glad to hear it. Keep up the good work. Ugh! A kick landed in Ange's side as she crawled on the ground. Ange didn't stand up again. So she continued to lie there like a caterpillar, as she was kicked each time she spoke up. I saw Nesan at the Ushimiya group party once. She was with her husband, looking very happy and laughing. She pushed everything onto me and found happiness only for herself. So what? How is taking out on me gonna make you happy? Will taking it on me turn back time and change history or something? Ugh. You said something a short while ago. When will my life start? No matter how much I despise you, or take out my frustrations on you, I can't turn back time. So I must keep hating my sister even though she's gone, until I die. You've gotta be kidding me. How long will I have to be tormented by my sister's ghost? So I thought of something. If I could accomplish one thing, I'll be able to forget all of my hatred and start over. Ange was about to lash back out at her but stopped, because she'd be kicked again if she responded. Even if Kasumi didn't say anymore, Ange had a pretty good idea what she meant. Kasumi thought by taking revenge against Kirie's daughter, Ange, she'd be able to put an end to her hatred. Talk about pushing your problems onto other people. Come on, stand up. If you like this island that much, I'll bury you deep in it. You don't want to die at your age, right? Don't you feel like saying, sorry my mother caused you so much trouble or something? Who'd say something like that? Ugh. Ugh. Uryu, Ange. Ange-sama, no. You mustn't provoke them. You should at least make them seem like you're going to along with them so you can buy some time. They often said that you should throw away your foolish pride out with the garbage. Oh, what about Amakusa-san? If Amakusa-san comes, I'm sure... It's no use, I can't see him. You idiot, Ange-sama. Why did you leave Amakusa behind? I didn't need Mammon to tell me. I was seriously regretting it already. I walked a long way. The forest was very thick. I've got no doubts that signs of activity here won't reach the boat. During the time it took for Kasumi to finish casually smoking a whole cigarette, I was continuously tormented by the black suits, as she told them to. The moment I grabbed at my head, my scalp was kicked by someone at a bad angle. My head was filled with stars. The feeling of stars flickering in this grey, twisted world was one I remembered clearly. My life was very similar to the one Sumidera Kasumi led. After all, as the successor to the Ushimiya family, I was tormented constantly with various kinds of bullying under the guise of education and training. Yes, having the inside of my head filled with stars like this is a feeling I know well. When being reprimanded for some error in manners I seemed to have made, the discussion always turned to whether I was fitting to be the successor or not. On and on about the honor of the Ushimiya family and how deep that was. By the time the conversation reached that point, I'd forget what mistake I was being blamed for in the first place. No. In fact, it was the same for Aunt Ava. After all, sometimes she'd ask herself, what was that again? But in the end, she wouldn't be able to remember and would say something like, if I'm angry, it must be your fault, Ange. The fact that you're at fault is what matters, so who cares if I can't remember what it was you did? There'd be some ridiculous reasoning like that, and she'd keep on punishing me. Yes, Aunt Ava's punishment wasn't something that would continue until I learned something, or acknowledged my mistake, or apologized. It would continue until Aunt Ava wanted to stop. So this violence was a bit nostalgic in a way that made me want to vomit. I opened my eyes and look. There's Aunt Ava, right next to Kasumi, who's smoking a cigarette. I can see Aunt Ava almost as though the two of them are laughing together. When I think about it, even Aunt Ava's life might be a thing worthy of my sympathy. The responsibility and pressure of being a member of the Ushimiya family, which she often mentioned to me, had probably caused her great pain. After all, people can't make insults that they've never been targets of themselves. It's probably the same for Aunt Rosa as well. As the youngest child of the honorable Ushimiya family, she must have gone through many tough times. So it was just like what Aunt Ava did to me. Just like what Sumidera Kasumi is doing now. Aunt Rosa must have been the same. People tend to push the pain they're burdened with onto other people. Otherwise they can never escape from that pain. So on in eternity and perpetuity, the chain of pain and sadness does not end. That's why Marionette-chan's magic was so incredible. With her magic, she didn't have to bear the pain caused by Aunt Rosa. The pain probably was pushed onto her. Its weight probably tormented her, but One-chan didn't carry that burden on her own shoulders. She purified it and filled the world with happiness. So I'm sure, if Marionette-chan had had children in the future, she probably wouldn't have pushed the pain that had been forced on her onto her children. The chain of pain and sadness that stretched back for who knows how long, for which she couldn't understand, and which she had inherited, of which had been forced onto her. This is a really good description of like generational trauma and what that does to a family. Marionette-chan cut it with her magic. What's wrong? Got a bone to pick with me? In the past, I would have snapped back. I would have met her hatred with hatred, so they'd cancel each other out. No, nothing got cancelled out. The thing being forced on me ended up being right there on my shoulders. Just like how even now I hate her. So now that I know of magic, I'll look at the human called Ushimiya Ava again. What I could see through to was a sad human form, no different from me who had lost her family, who bore deep wounds in her heart. Unable to withstand the pain of that torn heart, she was doing nothing more than howl sadly, like a lion crying in pain, like a child. Even Ushimiya Ava was someone I should have felt compassion for. She needed someone to understand the difficulties and pain of her childhood years. Even she, who was the only survivor of the Rokkenjima crime, who was faced with the curiosity of all of society, who was publicly slandered and forced to have salt continually flung into the wound, had needed someone's compassion. In order to let Eva forget her pain and sadness at least a little, the Black Witch taught her magic, just like the times it had possessed Aunt Rosa. It was the same magic of anger and sadness that Beatrice had taught Marionette-chan when she was mourning for her torn-apart friend, Sakutaro. That same magic, that witch had probably dwelled inside Aunt Rosa too. So I mustn't hate Ushime Eva. Maybe I should have become her ally, as the only person in the world who could understand her. What did I say to her when I was young, when she returned alive all alone? Could it be that I acted as though she'd killed my family and returned on her own? I can't believe it. Aunt Eva, who had never been more than an object of and a synonym for hatred throughout my life, is turning into a human I can understand. So, I can see, right next to Aunt Eva, the form of the Black Witch who taught her the magic. Aunt Eva was crying. It was only natural. Not only was no one willing to understand the pain of her losing her husband and son at once, but her only relative had insulted her, saying, "Give me back my dad and mom." I can make the excuse that I was merciless because of my youth. However, to her at the time, it had probably been cruel enough to sever the last thread in her heart. In the following days, the talk shows and magazines publicly slandered her. The truth of her husband's business and character, and even her beloved son, were negated. She no longer had anything left. She could do nothing but cry and howl, trying to forget the pain and sadness at least for a while. After all, she could only feel a tiny bit of release, and only during the time that she howled. And so the Black Witch taught her how to howl. The one I hated was the Black Witch. Black magic can probably release one from the pain for an instant. However, it never lifts that weight from a person's shoulders. On the contrary, it forces that weight onto further victims, filling the world with hatred. If only Aunt Eva knew of white magic and had a true witch nearby. Shouldn't that have been me? Didn't I learn the magic to create happiness from Marionette-chan? If I taught her with that magic, could we have built a future with a completely different relationship? Up until now, I've hated Aunt Eva constantly, so I didn't notice the Black Witch beside her. Without love, it cannot be seen. I didn't have any love for her. So now finally, I'll glare at the Black Witch, the one I truly should hate. Oh, what's this? You can see me. I see you. The one I should have hated wasn't Aunt Eva. It's you. Whoa, awesome. To think that a lowly human could see a witch like me. So, are you trying to say something with that glare? Do you hate me? Hate. Yes, I do. But that's not quite it. I just think you're sad. Sad? What are you saying? Come on, go ahead. Why not hate me as much as you want? I won't hate. Hating you means I'm doing nothing more than inheriting Aunt Eva's hate. I'll put a stop to hatred. I'll accept Aunt Eva's pain, purify it, and throw it away. What kind of epiphany do you think you've had? Is your head alright? Seriously, if only you just give up and die. You guys, kick her more and more, okay? Not her face, though, because it'd be boring if her pitiful face got any better. The black suits persistently kicked my stomach and back, as though they had been ordered to by the Black Witch. My, are you still not suffering after all that? You keep staring right at me. Do you hate me? I'll bet you do. Same here. Kasumi sneered at me. For some reason, I had the feeling she was crying behind that expression. Just like me, the pain of being forced into an unreasonable life would never ever heal. The sad lion gasping in pain from the thorn he can't get out continues to howl. Hey, Sumidera Kasumi, take a look. Over there, it's you as you used to be. Don't you feel better now? You used to be standing there, but now you're on this side, right? Isn't it great? Don't you like having the roles switched? Yes, it really is. Great. How can you make that kind of face, Ange? Go on and cry, you want to, right? Yes, of course she wants to cry. Make her cry. Didn't someone make you cry back then? So make her cry too. You too, Ange, if only you just break down and cry. Cry, Ange. I want to see your crying face. Cry and try saying, I'm sorry, Aunt Kasumi. Yes, make her say those words. Aren't those words painful? Isn't being made to apologize for something that isn't your fault just the worst pain? Make her feel the same way. By doing that, you can relieve your pain. Yes, that's it. Be a little more honest with yourself, okay? If only you just let your emotions run free more and more and more. The Black Witch provoked Kasumi, and Kasumi began to give herself over to that dark emotion. By turning deep sadness into an evil alcohol and forcing it down, trying to forget it for just an instant, nothing would change. The words Kasumi insulted me with were themselves sad. And I couldn't forgive the Black Witch who had imposed that sadness on Kasumi. I'd gone limp, which had seemed to stop the black suit's kicking competition. Or maybe the kickers were getting tired too. Kasumi didn't order them to stop, but at some point they did. However, I was reflected in Kasumi's eyes, and they burned me with the flames of hatred. She had been tempted by the witch to do that in order to relieve her own pain. Sumidera Kasumi, you aren't done yet. You've got much more trampling to do, right? Can you forgive what happened to your entire life with just a little violence? Can't. I still can't forgive her with just this. Right? There's no way you could forgive her. Do it more. More of the flames of hatred. Nothing can warm you except the fires of hate. After being frozen in the snowfields of anger and sadness, the only flame that can warm you is hatred. Say it, okay? Scream it. If only you just burn yourself to ashes with the roar of hate. Ushimi Ange, I cannot live without hating you. Sumidera Kasumi, look at that bundle of flowers. These flowers are for your dead family, right, Ange? The Black Witch grinned at me unpleasantly, using her chin to signal Kasumi to pick it up. Kasumi picked up the flowers I was going to offer, brought them all the way over to me, dropped them, and made a show of trampling them. Her expression was filled with hatred, in a frantic quality that couldn't be explained with hatred alone. She trampled them over and over again, as though her sadness was reaching the bursting point. So the sound of her trampling, it was just sad. Oh, still not suffering yet? And what about this? Sumidera Kasumi, use this. No, not that. The object the Black Witch pointed at was Maria One-chan's grimoire. Kasumi also noticed it, and picked up that book, which was heavier than it looked. What's this? Why not read it? You might fall over laughing, okay? Kasumi opened the grimoire, skimmed over the contents, and snorted derisively. Give it back. That's One-chan's. Of course, my hand couldn't reach. My stomach was once again kicked by the black suits, and I doubled over. See? This book's really important to Ange, right? Gotta belittle the things that are important to her, okay? That'll work better than punching or kicking for a girl like her. You know that better than anyone, don't you? As though remembering something painful, Kasumi's face twisted for an instant. But that quickly disappeared, changing into a scornful smile directed at me. What a creepy book. Did you write this? Stop it! Give it back! Look at that face. Belittle it more, belittle it more. Teach her the pain of having your dignity trampled. That's the only way to soften your own pain. What's with this embarrassing book? I'll admit I did have a little interest in fortune-telling as a girl. But isn't this going a bit too far? Magic? Ew. You're one of those, aren't you? It's like in those cartoons where a girl says that something spell and transforms into a witch, right? You're like those, don't you? How pathetic. Cackling, Kasumi opened to a random page and showed it to the black suits. The black suits looked too and guffawed. That sneer didn't wound me, but I couldn't forgive it. After all, that sneer was ridiculing Maria One-chan. I don't hate Kasumi, but for forcing that unhealing anger and sadness on Kasumi, I cannot forgive the Black Witch. That Black Witch ate into Aunt Ava, Sumidera Kasumi, and Aunt Rosa, tormenting them for an eternity without letting their wounds be healed. I can't forgive her. I can't forgive the Black Witch. Wow, this is just great. Magic for making candy fall from the sky, you say? What's this? Sprinkle water cleansed by the sun with sugar? Stick the magic staff in an incantation? What the hell? It hurts! The black suits were also rolling around, guffawing. Then grinning, the Black Witch whispered something into Kasumi's ear. After glaring at me with a grin, Kasumi took that page. Ah. Kasumi grabbed hold of that page, tore it off, crumpled it up, and threw it away. So cruel. That was Maria's magic. Oh really? How sad. It was one of the spells to summon happiness that Maria had made with Sakataro. Anyone knows that making sugar water, coloring it and leaving it by the window isn't going to make candy fall from the sky. But after repeating that every day, one time on her way home from school, she had found several pieces of candy scattered around. How happy must that miracle have made Maria One-chan? Didn't she treasure that candy, eating it during her night alone with Sakataro to distract herself from her loneliness? That magic that One-chan had given birth to had been torn and thrown away. And it disappeared. The whole miracle of happiness that magic had given birth to had been torn and thrown away. Oh, this part's great too. Magic to make tonight's dinner creme croquette. What's next? Magic to make bell peppers taste good? That's not bad either, so stupid. Tear that one too. If only you just tear it more and more. With a brutal loud laugh, the Black Witch made Maria One-chan's spells get torn out one after another. Magic of happiness was sneered at, torn, and thrown away. Stop it! Stop it! Don't defile Lady Maria's magic! Don't defile it with your filthy toxin! Mammon cried and yelled, but she had no way of reaching Kasumi. Come on, why not defile it? Miracles of magic? Magic to bring happiness? No way, nothing like that exists. Don't you know that you can't heal pain and sadness without pushing it onto someone else? Hey, you also have those magic friend things, right? Sumidera Kasumi opened to that page. What's this? Magic Friends. The Seven Sisters of Purgatory? What a creepy name. It says they can fly at awesome speeds and finish off the enemy. Ange, if you can use this kind of magic, shouldn't use it right now? Foolish. The page that wrote of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory was also heartlessly torn away. The page itself was just paper. It wasn't Mammon's vessel or anything. But the tearing, denying toxin burned Mammon from the inside. Mammon's face twisted from that heat and pain. Are you okay, Mammon? Hold on! This much is no problem. It's not me, but Ange-sama who's in pain. However, Mammon's expression was twisted with unbearable anguish and humiliation. Stop it, Black Witch! Why are you doing something like this? I can't use magic for happiness. Oh, you're a magic friend too, right? I'll defile you too. Sumidera Kasumi, look for this guy's page too, okay? What's this one? What's with this creepy crappy scribble of a lion? Sakataro. What a weird name. My best friend, it says. Really? This is your friend? A close friend? This lion is? Is it? Is it? It really is a crappy scribble. This ugly lion is totally you. To think she had something like this as a friend. That Ushimiya Maria kid's mind is so pathetic it's embarrassing. What a joke. She's like a moron. If only she'd just give up and die. Uyu, don't make fun of Maria. Stop it. Don't break it. No way. It was a shrill sound. The page had been filthily ripped out. The picture of Sakataro that One-chan had drawn was violently ripped in half. What a crappy picture. You all laugh too, okay? A pair of the black suits laughed vulgarly and heartlessly trampled the two halves that had been torn and thrown away. Sakataro, hang in there. I'm not sad. I just can't stand it. I can't stand that Maria's being made fun of. And I can't do anything about it. To humans who can't see us, it's as though we don't exist. We can only interact with humans that need us. That's why we're furniture. As Sakataro and Mammon supported each other, they crouched down sobbing. I couldn't stand it either. Those who can't see how wonderful the world of magic is can't understand it. You can't explain to humans who can't understand, so it gets belittled. If you could show them it, but you can't. Because in front of humans who are filled with the magic-resisting toxin and who can't understand magic, magic cannot be used. I really don't get it. From this delusional diary, I've got to assume that something's wrong with your head. It really is fun to take a peek into your mind. You creepy child. Both you and Maria. And that stuffed animal and the furniture over there too, right? I could laugh. You don't have any friends, do you? You're always all alone, so stuffed animals are your friends. What a pitiable child. Don't worry, I understand. I know what it's like to live that way, so I'll accept it. You really are a pitiable child, right? To you, it probably would look like something made by a pitiful child. That's right. If 100 people were to read One-chan's diary, 100 people would probably think the same thing. I used to be like that too. But you know, despite all of that, Maria One-chan summoned a world of happiness. Don't deny that magic, that happiness. Such a stubborn child you are. Very well, this is the last one. I'll tear apart the source of the truly foolish magic that you and Maria believed in. Sumidera Kasumi, read this page, okay? What's this colorful page? What's this? Magic too. Always be friends with my beloved mother. Stop it! Not that page! Aha, this magic's really simple, isn't it? It looks like even I could do it. Even I could remember an incantation this short. Shall I give it a whirl? It really is a short incantation, isn't it? Okay, give it a try. Let's have everyone spit it out. With expressions that ridiculed it from the bottom of their hearts, the Black Witch and Kasumi tapered their mouths. And they said it aloud. The black suits stared blankly, asking what the hell that was supposed to be. Then Kasumi answered, cackling. This is supposed to be an incantation. Are you kidding me? Well, that's so sad. I forgot about this. So Maria, like the reason why she says and Rosa hates hearing it, she's actually trying to say it as a way to get along with her mom. Time for Ghost Rosa to warp into existence with her ghost shotgun. Come on, why don't you guys try it too? The black suits imitated that moaning voice, making fun of it. That was the incantation for the magic that would let her always be friends with her beloved mother. What the hell? How stupid. If you could make family relationships better just by saying, the world would always be peaceful. A stupid moaning voice. Too bad that if you do this over and over again, people will think you're a pathetic, stupid kid. Are you a moron? Stop it! At least don't belittle that magic! It was the day of a picnic, when Marionette-chan and Aunt Rosa were alone. It was written that this was one of the top 5 happiest days of her life. Onette-chan was singing a song she just learned from her mama. Her mother had been delighted. But partway through, Maria forgot the lyrics. But since she saw that her mother was so happy, she tried to sing until the very end. With, Even though she'd only pretended to know the lyrics, her mother had enjoyed it a lot. After that, remained as an incantation to remember that day she'd spent in fun and happiness with her mother. Of course, even though she seemed to find it funny at first, Aunt Rosa eventually tired of hearing it, and eventually started scolding Onette-chan when she said it. But to Onette-chan, it was a memory of a fun day she'd never forget. So among the spells that Maria had created, it was the oldest and the first. Kasumi stuck her fingernails into that page too. Stop it! Don't tear it! At least spare that page. No way. With a shrill sound, a girl's world of happiness was erased. Is this your magic of happiness? Hilarious, hilarious. There's no way there could be magic to make you happy, right? Magic is made out of anger and hatred, right? Happiness is what you call the feeling of release when you get only what you've pushed all the hatred you bear onto other people. The happiness you all are talking about is a phantom that doesn't show up outside of picture books. As Kasumi laughed her head off, she slammed the grimoire against the ground and stepped on it. Can't stand it? Hey, you can't stand it, right? You white witches of happiness. If you can't stand it that much, why don't you show us? Show us your magic. If it exists, then you just have to show us, right? A witch who can't use magic isn't a witch. That's why we're the real witches. You're just brats trying to escape reality with a dream. Then, if I can show you magic, will you believe in Onechan's magic? Huh? Sure, yeah, I believe. If you can use magic and show me, that is. Let's see it, you stupid brat. Silently, slowly, I stood up. Sensations of this cramped world, such as the pain in my body, felt truly trifling. Oh, looks like you still got enough energy to stand up, Miss Great Witch. Now that you've stood up, what are you going to show us? Show us some magic. Magic exists. What? What's this kid saying? Did you guys hear that? Silence. Isn't that interesting? You people always refuse to show this power of miracles because of the magic-resisting toxin. Disciple of the White Witch, Maria. Let's see some magic. Do you have any clue how many humans have believed in that miracle before being betrayed? Everyone believes, everyone is betrayed and despairs, and they learn that true magic can only be gained by the power of black witches like me. Hitting someone with your hatred is nothing more than a sin. That isn't magic. I'll show you real magic. You... The Black Witch winced slightly. However, Kasumi sneered at me even more. Then let's have a look. So what kind of magic will you show us? Magic to make candy fall from the sky? Or else magic to make cookies multiply? What? The instant I opened my eyes, a tremendous wind arose. What is this all of a sudden? Come, arise, the 7 sisters of purgatory. What? There was a flash behind me, and in an instant, 7 pieces of high-level furniture were gathered there. It was a power that far surpassed the magical strength that I had in my prime. It was a power that matched even Maria One-chan and Beatrice. The 7 sisters of purgatory right here. Ange-sama. You said it once, because I lacked magical power and resolve. I couldn't use you or your sisters. This isn't some cheap emotion like wanting to get back at my bullying classmates. In order to protect Maria One-chan's, Mère Sorciere's world, I will now order you to show me the miracle of magic. It's impossible, no matter what you try, before such a massive toxin. The 7 sisters also remember what happened in that classroom. If they could have obeyed Ange's order, they would have. However, surrounded by the toxin that runs thick in humans, they hadn't been able to display the miracle of magic. And they remembered very well how deeply that had hurt Ange. But Ange spoke very quietly. In that case, you all believe too. Huh? Mère Sorciere was created to bring people happiness, and also to fight the Black Witch. In order to show that miracle to the foolish Black Witch, who denies the world that one of the founders, the Witch of Origins, Lady Maria, gave birth to. In order to protect that world. Believe. In magic. In witches. In miracles. Right now. When Kasumi gave an order to the black suits, one of them took out a gun and pointed at Ange. You'll show us magic, right? Then let's have it. Use magic to shoot this man down with a fireball or lightning or something. You get one chance. Show us before I count to 3, got it? If you can't, then you better prepare yourself, okay? Shoot. What's with this kid? She's lost it. The black suit pointing the gun laughed at Ange's detached attitude. Are you serious? This girl's lost her mind. In that case, get yourself shot. If only you just die. Ange, it's impossible. You can't block bullets with magic. No, there's nothing to be afraid of. Compared to my magic, to the 7 Sisters of Purgatory, bullets are nothing. Ange-sama. Mammon was perplexed by Ange's absolute trust. If she could comply, she would have. On that day as well. But because she had been unable to do anything, she had hurt Ange. You brat. If you can use magic, let us have a look right now. What's wrong? We're telling you to show us some magic, right? Come on, no need to hold back, okay? Boom! Show me some magic. The black suits jeered at her, but Ange simply concentrated her mind in silence. If only you just shoot. She's even telling you to try and shoot, you guys. This kid's already lost her mind from fear. Bye-bye, Ange-chan. Go and pretend to be a witch as much as you want in heaven. Fire. Are you sure? Fire. Die, Ange. If you could do it, then give this magic of yours a try. The black suit cocked the gun and, sneering, pulled the trigger. The sound of gunfire rang out, and the world stopped. A red spray scattered out, and chunks of flesh flew. Huh? What are you doing, Mammon? Don't tell me you would let a boorish pebble of a bullet like this reach Ange-sama. Lucifer lined up the bullet perfectly with a single swing and sliced it. And, In the chest of the black suit who had apparently fired the gun was a hole as big as a fist. Why is the focal point right here on Lucifer's crotch? Every now and then I get to go first. Half of Leviathan's body was covered with blood and a cold smile was on her face. Oh, okay. Then slowly the pitiful prey that she had brought down fell over. You pierced a human! Idiot! Do you still not believe in our master's magic power? Are you kidding me? You materialized in front of this many humans? What is this? What? Kasumi and the rest were flustered. He certainly seemed to have fired his gun. However, it hadn't hit Ange. And why? Was the person who fired hurt instead? This is magic. Great job, Leviathan. I'm most honored. You foolish humans who dare oppose our master. Now is the time of judgment. Prostrate yourselves. Why? You shouldn't be able to bring magic into this world of humans. They shouldn't be able to see magic, and they shouldn't be able to be touched by magic. Why? Because this is true magic. Yeah. Ah! What are you people doing? Kill! Kill! One of the black suits who had finally come to his senses took out his gun, readied it. Like I'd allow you to disrespect pointing a gun barrel at our master. Die. Those words were a requiem. The man's chest had already been pierced by Lucifer, who had become the stake of pride in an instant. Thump. With the sound of the second person falling, the black suits now realized for certain that their lives were in peril. Save me! The instant one of the black suits doubled over in shock, and turned on his heels to escape from that place. The stake of sloth. Be thankful that your violence against our master will be repaid with this alone. Die. In his right eye, a hole as big as a walnut opened and his head split. Belphegor was sprayed with blood and her face twisted demonically with the joy at being able to use her full power. Who's that? Who's there? Where are you? The black suits were flustered, pointing their guns in every direction, but they didn't understand what was happening. Thanks for the stretch, Armon. They knew that something terrifying was coming for them from somewhere, but they didn't know where. Dumbass, the enemy's right before your eyes. The witch's furniture is after you. But they couldn't see. Because they didn't believe in magic, they could not see. Just as the Black Witch said, Satan was standing boldly right in front of a black suit. However, the black suit couldn't see her at all. Did you think humans could see our forms? They could follow us? Stupid humans. Time to pay a fool's price for forgetting your awe of magic. Eee! What is this? What's going on? You can't see it, because you have no love. Impossible! Even though there are so many humans here, even though the magic resisting toxin is everywhere, why can't you manifest your magic? Who are you? A witch. And unlike you, a real one. What? Damn it, you bitch! Ah yes, the power of love and incredible violence. As though announcing his candidacy for becoming the fourth victim, one of the black suits pointed his gun at Ange. Hey, Sunflower Donkey. Welcome to the stream. And the trigger was... Ange glared at him coldly and simply ordered, die! Next one. Satan. Satan of Wrath, already right here. Blockhead. You think a simple bullet could hit Ange-sama or us now? The stake of anger pierced and smashed the bullet fired by the black suit, and continued straight on towards the man's face. Know your foolishness and regret in hell. Die. With a terrible explosive sound, the upper half of the man's head was smashed. Bathed in scattered flesh and blood, Ange quietly asked one more question. Hey, Aunt Kasumi, do you still not feel like believing in magic? There's no way something so ridiculous could exist. I won't accept it. There's no way magic exists. Yeah, that's right. There's no way magic exists. There's no way witches exist. Magic exists. Witches exist. Do you? That's right. Magic exists. Witches exist. And in this world filled with anger and sadness, it can become the key that opens the door to the world of happiness. And I won't let someone like you deny that. The key to a world of happiness lies in every person's hands. No one has any right to steal that away. You pitiful human who cannot understand this. If there had been magic in your life, it would probably have turned out differently, becoming much more peaceful. When I think that in your entire life you were never able to meet a true witch, I pity you. Eeh! Kasumi let out a piercing scream. At the same time, two of the black suits came for me at once, thrusting their guns at my head. Like they were trying to use me as a hostage against something that their eyes couldn't see. Against the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, who had now reached the level of weapons, this was completely pointless. Damn, where are you? Keep on attacking and this bitch is dead. Show yourself. What the hell's he saying? And his guts look so tasty too. Ange-sama, leave the next one to me. Go ahead. Kill him. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Die. The man's chest split and his guts poured out. This terrible way of dying threw the other man into a total panic. However, as Modi's form was already at his back, grasping his neck and smiling obscenely. What a cutie. Hey, where do you want to get pierced? Ange-sama, got any ideas? The head. Certainly, my master. Die. Final black suit had his head smashed by the stake of lust, and as his insides scattered, he twisted and fell. In the gruesome world where 6 people lay in a sea of blood, witch and human confronted each other. Sumadera Kasumi, I sympathize with your sad life from the bottom of my soul. I'm willing to grant you magic that can seal up that unfillable hole in your heart. If you can believe, that is. Don't be ridiculous. I will never accept something like this. Eh. As Kasumi, who was scared out of her wits, stepped backwards, she picked up a handgun that someone had dropped. Then, shaking, she pointed at Ange. That's right, Kasumi. Shoot with that gun. Turn your hatred into a bullet and shoot. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. If I don't kill you, I'll never be paid back for the life I've lived. Yes, kill. Pull the trigger. Take all that anger and pain from your shabby life until now. Use it all against her. If you don't, you won't be released from your pain and anguish. Stop it, Akasumi. You mustn't listen to the Black Witch. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Because of your mother. My entire life has been a wreck. In that case, my magic might be able to turn that life into something bright and peaceful bit by bit starting now. If you can believe in magic and just have a change of heart, I'll be able to open the door to a new world for you. There's no such thing. The salvation she speaks of is obviously just some fairy tale. Your life is going to be covered with thorns until you die anyway. Let her hear that cry of agony. You can't regain anything that was lost, right? Sumadera Kasumi? That's right. You might not be able to regain anything. However, I know you'll be able to create something new. So, Aunt Kasumi, throw that gun away. I might be able to teach you too about a world of happiness. You know, because your mother ran away, I was forced to marry her fiancé in her place. There was a man I swore I'd spend my life with, and I was forced to break up with him. You think you understand how I felt when I was vowed to be forced to be wed in your mother's place and was held by a man I'd barely even talked to? I wanted to kill her, but Nae-san just went and died on her own. That's why I'll kill you. Otherwise, my thorn-filled life will never end. For Katsumi's eyes, tears of passion dripped down. So pitiable. This person's tears were so calm and beautiful. But for that very reason, she hadn't been able to fully withstand her sad pain and been given no choice but to listen to the bad witch's or Black Witch's temptation. So sad. In that case, I'll at least release you, your soul for all eternity, and free you from the bonds of resentment. That might be the only bit of charity I can give you right now. Die, Ushimi Ange! Goodbye, Aunt Kasumi. Take a long rest in a quiet world. I no longer feel hatred or anger towards you. I just want to let your soul rest in peace. Kasumi's handgun spat fire. Slowly that bullet continued through a world frozen to the utmost limit, aiming for Ange's forehead. Mammon. Yeah! Mammon of Greed, right here. Thanks. Huh? Because I met you and Sakataro, I was able to understand everything. Ange. Look away, Sakataro. Mammon, release that woman, and protect the honor of Mère Sorcière. Yes! Prepare yourself, Subadera Kasumi! Even though the world was frozen, the stake of greed flashed like lightning, and had already gotten behind Kasumi. If there's any virtue in you, we'll meet again, on the mountain of purgatory. Die. The upper half of Sumadera Kasumi's head was smashed. Her cage of flesh was shattered. And she was finally released. Next is you, the Black Witch. By now, I think even the fact that you look like Aunt Ava is inexcusable to her. If my form still looks like Ushimi Ava, that means you still haven't been able to forgive me inside yourself. I understand, Ange. Even you want to be released from your thorn-filled life more than anything. In that case, I thought of something interesting. I'll show you magic as well. I won't be the one to kill you. With the worst of smiles on her face, the Black Witch changed her form into something like a black mist, or else a vast swarm of black flying insects which began to swirl around me. Then that black mist began to gather bit by bit, shaping itself into the form of a human. What's this supposed to be? You've got at least a vague idea, don't you? It's the woman you hated and despised the most. The woman who hated and despised you the most. When the black mist cleared, over there was Aunt Ava's form, as she had been during her life. Her hands were holding a gun. Aunt Ava died. Long time no see, Ange. I've come back from hell to kill you. As Aunt Ava glared at me with a mad laugh. But I'm not that surprised. Aunt Ava was that kind of person. I imagine my funeral came quite as a relief to you, right? I feel the same since I've never have to see your face again. But I just had one regret. And this is it. Killing me. Was that your last request? How pitiful. Even after death, my aunt wasn't released from her pain. The Black Witch's power is itself the source of my magic. Anger and hatred taught me how to work hard and persist. Completely different from this magic to escape reality that you speak of. The magic you speak of is nothing more than stress reduction through outbursts of anger. Our magic is different. It can remake the entire world. It's in a totally different class than your wicked magic. In that case, let's settle which is the victor right now, black or white. You see my black magic miracle, reviving even after death and pointing a gun at you like this. How exactly do you intend to stop that miracle how do you intend to stop that with a miracle of white magic? I've surrounded you with a magic-resisting toxin. You can't call the Seven Sisters anymore. That miracle just now won't occur again. Having it occur despite all that is why it's called magic. Okay, Mammon, lend me your power. But Mammon didn't respond. She didn't appear. Certainly, as she said, the magic-resisting toxin had burned everything up like a wasteland, parched by a blazing sun. This might be a little tough. It's useless to call out. Never again. The Seven Sisters of Purgatory will never answer. And being able to call them, even so, is what makes it magic, right? How pitiful. So long, Ange. The few days we spent together were fun in their own way. This is goodbye. Aren't you glad that the end of the line for you turned out to be this place? Yeah, seriously. How thoughtful of you. Thanks. Then this is farewell. The barrel of the gun rose slowly, so that you could see all the way down it. Then, the trigger was slowly. At that moment, the gun exploded. It wasn't that it fired. It burst. You're kidding me? In shock, inside a frozen space, Ava looked at the ruptured gun. When time melted, the fragments would probably smash into her face all at once. Famine of greed. Right here. You're kidding me! Behind Ava's back, Mammon stood. She had already penetrated the target I'd given her, which was the gun. Is this enough magic for you, Aunt Ava? Ange! Then, time melted. The fragments of the burst gun and exploding gunpowder burned her face. Letting out a shrill scream, she covered her face and rolled around. It was pitiful. Your luck was bad. This is game over, Aunt Ava. I signaled to Mammon, so that Ava would be freed quickly from the pain of her burnt face as she writhed around. Thank you, Mammon. This time I want to apologize again, and from the bottom of my heart, for calling all of you powerless on that day in the classroom. You were excellent furniture for protecting witches. I'm the one that's grateful. I feel truly honored at being able to meet a good witch, a good master in the end, and at being able to fulfill my duty as furniture. Mammon had understood. This would be the final job I'd give her. Mammon quietly walked up to me. Then she looked down at Ava. Aunt Ava, thanks for sticking with me for so long. This is farewell. Have a nice dream. See you in hell. Cool. Why did she say cool at the end? Then the light sound of her forehead being bored into rang out. The battle of gunpowder, smoke, and fury, of white and black magic ended. I get the feeling it was a long, truly long journey, and the world slowly sank into darkness. And thanks for summoning Kirby, Donkey. I really appreciate it. Yes, this is a visual novel, and it's kind of like a murder mystery with fantasy elements. In many ways, it reminds me a little bit of Ace Attorney and Danganronpa, but there's a lot of other stuff layered on top of it. We're reaching the end of the first half of the game. The stars that should have been sparkling lay not in the sky, but were scattered beneath me. When I realized that the pearl and ruby made a red and white stream, I noticed it was a vast nighttime scene spread out below. I was in the sky of that nighttime scene, neither standing nor flying, but simply floating. From nowhere in particular I could hear a clap, clap, clap. A truly dull applause. I know. It's the one who ordered me to go on a journey. Bern Castell. Congratulations, Endless Witch, Ange Beatrice. At the end of your travels, you understood everything about magic. Yes, I now understand everything about magic. I am a witch. The last witch who inherited the magical world created by Mère Sorcière. No one besides you can tear Beatrice's world to pieces. Because I know witches, I learned how to resist them. Magic is made of love and sadness and anger. No matter how cruel a witch Beatrice might have been, the source of her magic is exactly the same. And that's why I wish I could leave that world of hers alone. After all, in her eyes at least, that world is complete. But then you'd have to give up on your family. That's right. So I don't like doing it, but I have to fight. The very reason I left on this journey to become a witch was so I could bet on the faint chance I'd be able to take my family back someday. Unless you kill Beatrice, only worlds of isolation can exist for you. As one who has traveled to billions of fragments, I guarantee it. I understand. I can't afford to have compassion. I must make my heart a demon, and tear her heart to pieces. It's good that you're steady in that resolve. I was worried that, as another witch like her, you might grow attached and lose your will to continue. It felt a bit hollow hearing that from a person whose face was almost always expressionless. Vern Castell, the mysterious witch who invited me on this journey. At times I suspected you might have lied to me. Why? I am the Ange of 1998, so even if I save my family, they will only be saved for the Ange of 1986. They won't be saved for me, so I've sometimes felt like I was being deceived. That is correct. I deceived you. But now I'm grateful. After all, in the end, you did teach me how to get my family back. I didn't teach you anything. If you know something, it's because you reached that mental state by yourself as a witch. That mental state is different from my own. I personally cannot understand it, but if that's the truth, then congratulations. I'm not a player in this game, but a piece. You said that to me, right? Yes, I said it. Now I fully understand that role. A piece doesn't need emotions. It just has to give its all for victory's sake. Yes, that is correct. The game requires that you each make the best possible moves, right? If your moves get distorted by hesitation and confusion, your opponent will be confused as well. Sorry, Beatrice. Don't hate me. Ushimi Ange still needs her family, so I have the right to fight you, so I can take them back. And you have the responsibility to be challenged by me to a fight, so don't hate me. In exchange, if you do win in this game, I'll give you my blessing as well. Come on, let's go. As the piece I am, it's finally time for my true turn. Sorry, Beatrice. I won't hand Oni-chan over to you. The world whitened. It wasn't white. It was a gold color as bright as can be. There was the beautiful Ushimiya family rose garden. However, the flowers on the roses were all gold. The nectar was also gold-colored. The butterflies gathered there were gold as well. This is the Golden Land. The promised land that the witches of Mère Chaussière had finally been guided to. There, all wishes are granted, and all magic and dreams are born. In that garden of gold roses were only two witches. I appeared as an uninvited guest, making that atmosphere tremble with unrest. What was to them a wind of misfortune shook the golden roses. The incredibly beautiful scene formed by the golden rose petals scattered by the wind was clearly something not of this world. The two who had been taking a walk on a path of golden roses noticed me and were surprised. Ange! Mito is Ange! How did you get in here? Leave us alone. I shall no longer invite anyone here. Mito spoke coldly. She seemed like a completely different person from the boldly sneering woman she had once been. She had closed off her heart and shut herself up in a world where she was alone with Maria One-chan. A world where she could always be alone with a friendly Maria One-chan, lecturing about magic while drinking tea, with no one to hurry them, nothing to hold them back. A world where not a single person who might hurt them existed. Yes, to the two of them it was a small, perfect universe. Sorry, I can't have you shutting yourself up in here. We can't continue the game unless you come back. I said I stopped because I'm tired of it. I will not return to the game again. Mito will always be here with me. Here we'll drink tea together and think of lots of ways to play. You can play with us too, Ange. Maria, I believe I said it mustn't happen. I am satisfied as long as I have you alone. Say that you are too satisfied as long as you have me. Yeah, thank you. The only person who needs me that much is you, Bito. So I'll be with you. Just us is enough. Maria, thanks. I am grateful. Bito held Maria tight, even creating a small, warm universe between their joined arms. It was probably the birth of the smallest universe in the world. The smallest universe in the world, which a pair who needed each other could give birth to. No matter how small it was a complete world. But I had to tear it apart. Sorry, but I can't let it go like that. I came to smash this golden land of Mère Sorcière. Why are you going to break my world? Are you saying that this world is causing anyone other than Maria and me trouble? You've left Oni-chan waiting all this time, in a game you started and then abandoned without finishing. If you don't return to your seat, the contest won't end for all eternity. Ha! There is no longer a single player in that game. Battler vanished, and I did as well coming here. That game is already over. It isn't over. You started the game, right? Take responsibility and see it through to the very end. Will you defeat Battler and give birth to the world you truly wish for? Or will you be defeated and everything swallowed up by your magic released? Take responsibility until the very end. Don't, Ange. Bito will spend her time in this world alone with me for all eternity. And I don't need anything else as long as I have Bito. Here, all wishes are granted. Everything is here. This golden land is made of nothing more than the crystallization of Beatrice's and Maria One-chan's thoughts. To drag Bito out of the world, I'm going to have to destroy it. I will destroy this golden land, which must be a final peaceful world in Beatrice's eyes. One-chan, that's wrong. This golden land is a liar. It won't grant that one wish you truly want granted. That's not true. Anything can be granted here. Look, there's even a nice mama here. Gold butterflies gathered behind Maria, forming into a kindly, smiling Aunt Rosa. After smiling sweetly at me, it became golden petals and crumbled. Here, anything can be created. Even Ange, even Battler, even George Oni-chan, even Jessica One-chan. You can summon as many as you want, and everyone is nice. You come too, Ange, and let's play together. Sorry, One-chan. And what about Sakataro? Upon hearing Sakataro's name, One-chan looked like she was choking. Stop it! Do not speak that name! Bito's expression changed as well, and she hugged Maria, guarding her shoulders. Sakataro's name was still taboo for One-chan. Why can't I say it? It's the name of Maria One-chan's best friend. Why won't you invite that close friend to this wonderful golden land? Why, in this golden land where any wish can be granted, is Sakataro the only one you cannot summon? That is... It's alright, Maria. You don't have to remember Sakataro. Sakataro was killed by Mama. Maria One-chan flew into a rage with a terrible expression on her face. Surprised by that voice, the butterflies throughout the garden flew up, blowing across like a typhoon of flower petals. Yes, I know. Aunt Rosa took your precious stuffed animal, Sakataro, and tore him apart. Ah! Maria's scream became a storm that violently scattered the golden petals and leaves. It truly was a storm of gold. Stop! 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 Why are you trying to reopen the wound in Maria's heart? Don't defile the sleep of this precious friend to both Maria and myself. In that case, why don't you revive that precious friend for her with your magic? I'd do it if I could, but that stuffed animal was an article Rosa created herself. The magical meaning of that individual object being torn apart is... Don't try to fool anyone. Why can't you revive Sakataro? There's only one answer. It's because you aren't a real witch. I can revive him. With my magic, I revive him as often as I want, like this. I can even bury this garden in Sakataro's. Yeah, I'll bet you could with your magic, but One-chan definitely won't be able to see the Sakataros you create. You know why, right? I'll say it again. It's because you aren't a real witch. Stop it! Why do you keep on saying such mean things, Ange? Bito can use a lot of magic. She's a wonderful witch. She couldn't revive just Sakataro, but she could do absolutely anything else. So I can at least do without... Sakataro! No, One-chan, that's wrong. There's nothing a witch can't do. As long as she couldn't do that, it was clear that Beatrice wasn't a real witch. That's wrong. It's because Sakataro's stuffed animal vessel was something Mama made specifically herself and that's why she can't revive him? Is Beatrice's, your magic so inconvenient? In that case, are you saying you can revive Sakataro? Are you saying you can do that with your magic? I can. What? Maria-ne-chan, I'll show you some real magic. I'll revive Sakataro for you. Really? Even Beatrice couldn't do it, right? Really? Yes, I can. In exchange, promise me, once I revive Sakataro. Yes! Leave this golden land. I will not permit that. This world is Maria's and mine. If Maria leaves, it will break. The minimum number of humans it takes to create a universe is 2. Otherwise, that world is destroyed. Yeah, this series has really good music, and the character interactions and development is so in-depth. Like, to put it in perspective, we are almost 70 hours into this visual novel, and we're only about halfway through. To drag out the witch shut away in the Golden Land, I'll have to destroy this world. Yes, that's the proof that you aren't a witch. A real witch can create a universe alone. The Marriage Sorcier Alliance of Witches. The very existence of this alliance proves that you aren't a witch. No. Well, I won't hand Maria over. I hate you. Leave right now. Get out of here. Dragging everyone into a game of your own accord, and then getting bored and chasing them out when your mood changes. How selfish can you be? Take a look, Beatrice. And you, Maria-ne-chan. This is true magic. Will you really revive Sakataro? There's no way you can. This is a golden land for Maria and me alone. There is not a single spell that an outsider like you could use. As you are now, you could even create a single butterfly. Be quiet, Bito. Don't get in Ange's way. When Maria yelled, the storm suddenly stopped, and the area returned to silence. The scene, as a massive number of golden petals that had been blown upwards quietly drifted down, was fantastical, as though golden snow was falling. Maria, thinking about this unlikely, if only miracle, had unconsciously joined her hands together as though praying. Vito watched Maria do this, her heart racing. If the extremely unlikely were to happen, Maria would. This world would. But it's unthinkable. Absolutely impossible. That stuffed animal, which had only been the only one in the world, was torn apart and thrown away. Not a thread remained. Reviving it was certainly and absolutely impossible. This is my golden land. A world where magic that isn't mine certainly cannot exist. If you think you can do it, let's see what you've got, Ushumiya Ange! As Bito's scream-like cry, the world lost its sound. I slowly recited the incantation for true magic. Come, try to remember Maria's close friend, Sakataro. Try to remember what form you had. Try to remember what a lovable stuffed animal you were. Huh? Expressions of shock rose to both their faces. Then, pushing Bito's elbow aside, Maria dashed forward. Sakataro! Then, she clung to us both. It's alright. Sakataro isn't going to disappear. Who are you? Maria, I'm home. Sakataro! Sakataro. Sakataro. I want to see you. so much. It was, without a doubt, that stuffed animal lion, Sakataro. Its softness, its texture, its stitches, everything. Maria had forgotten. But the instant she hugged that stuffed animal, it all came back to her vividly. Hey, Maria, I'm home. Sakataro. Sakataro, is your body alright? Does it hurt anywhere? Even though something so horrible was done to you? Are you all okay? Hey you! Ange revived me with magic, so I'm perfectly fine. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Welcome back, Sakataro. From now on, I'll always be with you, Maria. Together for eternity. So, don't let go of me, okay? Yeah, won't let go. For all eternity. Then, still hugging Sakataro, she looked up at me with tear-filled eyes. Thank you, Ange. Ange's magic is amazing. How? How can you revive Sakataro when Bito couldn't do it? Impossible. Impossible. How? How could a human other than me use magic in my golden land? This is completely impossible. What are you so flustered about, Beatrice? This is magic, right? There's no way that's magic. This is my golden land. A world where magic that isn't mine clearly cannot exist. And my magic was not able to revive Sakataro. There's no way it could. This is a special stuffed animal, made by Rosa for her daughter's birthday, and in the entire world, the only... See? It's magic, right? With this miracle that she couldn't possibly accept, Bito understood all of my magic. She looked at Maria and Sakataro innocently frolicking around, looked at me, and then fell to her knees, with even her hands pressed to the ground, and cried. Beatrice, this really is magic, right? It's magic, right? Beatrice! Indeed, it is magic. This is real magic. Why can Ange use a magic that even Bito couldn't? Why? Why? Ange is amazing. Ange is an amazing witch. A real witch who's much, much more amazing than me. Yeah, that's right, One-chan. I am the Witch of Resurrection, Ange. There's nothing that can't be revived by me. Amazing, incredible. Even Bito said the magic of resurrection was the hardest. Ange is incredible. A really, real great witch. At that time, Maria's and Sakataro's forms flashed gold, and the forms of the two became golden flower petals that crumbled away. As the two became a golden wind and swirled together, they left for some other peaceful place, not here. Bito had, as promised, banished Maria from the Golden Land. Hey, that one drawing kid! Welcome to the stream. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see you. Goodbye, Maria One-chan. And be happy forever. Don't worry. You definitely exist in One-chan's world too. But that isn't you. Good for you. Maria, as your close friend, I celebrate this reunion from the bottom of my heart. On Bito's face was a mixture of what was probably every expression a human could muster. It was joy, anger, and sadness. That's the source of magic, isn't it? Without love, without sadness, without anger, magic cannot be seen. The ground shook, an earthquake. It gradually summoned greater and greater fissures, and began to tear Beatrice's final paradise apart. Golden butterflies fluttered about trying to escape, but there was nowhere to escape to, and Beatrice was the same. The golden land began to crumble away. The earth crumbled downwards like a floor falling through, and Beatrice was sucked into the depths of a jet-black darkness. Then she was mercilessly slammed against a jet-black floor. It was a dimly lit smoking room. There was no door to exit by, and while there was a window, it let no light into Beatrice's shadowy smoking room. Oh, you love my froggy fanny pack? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Even though Bito was moaning from the pain of being slammed against that cold, hard floor, she shakily rose to her feet. There was a seat there, and the game table, still just as it had been when she left it. The game board also remained in the same state that Bito had left it in. That's your seat. Sit. So, this is the only seat for me to sit in. Bito put a hand against her own seat and laughed sadly. Win or lose, that's all you've been given. A tie during the process of reaching that point will probably be permitted. However, you won't be allowed to suspend the game and throw it away. Will you win and survive, or lose and disappear? Until one of those two things happens, you will not be permitted to rise from that chair. That should be your only duty as the host of the Witch's Game, as the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Laughing weakly, Bito sat in that seat. Then she rested her elbows and covered her face with both hands, showing off a smile with nothing but her mouth. Not permitted to escape an unwinnable game. Then very well. Why don't I repeat this until I lose? Quit being so faint-hearted. Win. Use the best moves you have. You started this game. You have a duty to make the best moves possible. Give all that indecisive fooling around a rest. At that time, there was a violent sound. Ito felt a cold, pathetic sensation on her leg. Gotcha. I finally got you, eh, Bito? Oh, great, Lady Lambda Delta, is it? To think you were still here. Ito's foot was caught in an ice-cold steel shackle, tying her to the chair she sat in. She would no longer be able to escape from the seat. Oh, you won't be able to escape anymore, got it? I can be more persistent than I look. Surprised? It's more surprising that you don't realize how persistent you look. You are not permitted to leave early or suspend this game. You'll fight for all eternity in order to win, okay? You don't want to lose, do you? You want a little peek at the kind of wonderful world you'll be thrown into if you lose? Don't worry. You can win because I, the great Lady Lambda Delta, will be watching after you. Constantly until you win for all eternity. But even if I wish to fight, there's no opponent seated across from me, correct? Don't worry, I found Badler. When Bernkastel appeared and clapped her hands, Badler appeared from the sky and plopped into the opposite chair. Badler's eyes were slightly opened, but there was no sparkle in them, almost like a doll's. Without one of the pillars that established his soul, he had fallen into the depths of darkness and had been drifting about all this time. He should have then scattered and disappeared like mist. Bernkastel had managed to scrape him together. It's incredible that she managed to bring him back into a human form. However, even though his flesh had returned, his soul had not. It had been blown away by Beatrice after having its existence denied. It wouldn't come back easily. Badler won't run from this fight either. Not until he defeats you. Just because your chances of winning are shrinking doesn't mean you'll be permitted the inelegance of abandoning everything and running. Even he doesn't want that. Isn't that right, Ushimiya Badler? Badler didn't answer. His heart was still dead. His eyes wavered slightly at the question, but he couldn't answer. Badler, get a hold of yourself. You are here, and the enemy is before your eyes. Fight! Fight to win! Badler lazily repeated that, speaking incoherently. He'd come back. The wound he bore in his soul was no small thing. That was only natural. Beatrice had woven her red, and he had been denied. He had learned that his mother he'd respected was not his birth mother, and he didn't know who he was. He was not Ushimiya Battler. Don't talk stupid. You are Ushimiya Battler, no one else. No matter who acknowledges that or denies that, make sure you believe in yourself. After all, you're the only one who can create your own world. Don't lose the world where you're Ushimiya Battler. Then, who am I? I'm not my mom's child, right? Where was I born from? Battler asked that question as his eyes, which still hadn't regained a sparkle, stared lazily up at the ceiling. Of course, she answered right away. Yes, that's right. Ito proclaimed it with the red truth. So I'll proclaim it too. Ushimiya Battler is not Ushimiya Asumu's son. In that case, he is not qualified to be an opponent in my game, correct? Beatrice, repeat it. Ushimiya Battler is not Ushimiya Kinzo's grandchild. As Bito wrinkled her forehead, a painful-looking smile rose to her face. So you refuse to repeat it? Bito proclaimed two red truths. Battler is not Asumu's son, and no one except Kinzo's grandchild, Battler, is qualified to be her opponent. The following theory will allow Battler to be accepted without creating any contradictions. Here's my blue truth. Listen to it. The one qualified to be Bito's opponent is Kinzo's grandchild, Ushimiya Battler, and whether you're Asumu's son or not is not a problem. Thus, even if you aren't Asumu's son, you could still be Kinzo's grandchild. As long as you're Rudolph's son. It was just a silly word game, wasn't it? Your blue truth is valid. Bito, your counter-argument with the red truth. If you cannot counter with the red, Battler's qualifications as an opponent will stand unchallenged. Battler was still out of it. He still couldn't really understand what she was saying for him, but even so his spirit was starting to come back bit by bit. Then, who am I? Get a hold of yourself. You are Ushimiya Battler. Yeah, maybe Mother Asumu didn't give birth to you, but so what? That doesn't change in the slightest the fact that she was a mother to you, right? For example, what is Ushimiya Ange to you? You might not share the same blood, but she's still your little sister, right? It's not about blood, it's about bonds, right? That's right. Even though we don't share the same blood, Ange is my little sister. Say it in red. Say that Ange is your little sister. Ange is my little sister. I could say it. She hugged Battler, who was still out of it, and slumped in his chair strongly from behind. So much that it hurt. I don't know why Mother Asumu wasn't your birth mother, but still, up until today and even now, you believe that she's your mother, right? In this world, there are plenty of people without even a mother. Without even a family. Did Mother Asumu ever let you feel lonely? Never, right? Don't throw your peaceful family away so easily. Your family bonds have gotten too thin after leaving your family for 6 years. You have to feel those family bonds much, much more strongly. Remember, for Mother Asumu's sake as well, don't lose your love over a foolish witch's rant like this. You're right. Mother was always on my side. Where is this place? It's dark, and I want to go home. Where's all my family? The light still hadn't returned to Battler's eyes, but tears appeared. Hey Aru, welcome to the stream. Your little sister's waiting at home for you to come back. If even you don't come back, she'll be all alone forever. For your little sister's sake, please win this witch's game. Ange. My little sister. But I still don't get it. Why do I have to keep repeating this incomprehensible, cruel game with Bito? I've had enough. In that case, settle this game quickly and go back home. Ushimiya Battler, how long are you going to play around in a place like this? Your little sister's waiting for you to come home. That's right. Battler had been caught up in this strange game even before he knew it. And still unable to understand why he was fighting, he had been constantly sucked into the witch's pace, played with, and made to fight. That should have been his most simple and first question. But he didn't understand that, and he had lost his purpose in fighting. That's why my voice won't reach Balor's ears. Instead of a vague purpose like winning against the witch, or because he couldn't forgive her, he has to be aware of a purpose for which he must win. That's right. I want to go home. I want to go home to Dad and Mom and Ange. I've had enough. Enough of this place. I've had enough of witches. I've had enough of games and murders. Enough. Enough. Adler's soul is starting to come back. But I can't quite reach. You've had enough, right? Then fight so you can return to your family. Destroy Beatrice and go home. Oh, I've had enough of witches. Enough of Bito. Enough of everything. And even you're probably just another one of the witch's allies. I could be betrayed again at any time. You can't trust anything. You can't trust any words that aren't read. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. Adler's soul howled. She hugged his head from behind, strong enough that it hurt. Come home quickly, Oni-chan. Don't leave me all alone. Huh? Who are you? It's me, Ange. Dad and Mom and Oni-chan, no one came home. I'm so lonely. I beg you, come home quickly. Ange. You were Ange. That's right. I'm Ange, the Ushimi Ange of a world where no one comes home. My entire family never came home from Rogenjima that day. The witch before your eyes stole away my whole family. Even you, Oni-chan. Only you can finish her, Oni-chan. Finish her. Then take your family back. And then come home to me. Mito did that. To my family. As she says, I will not run away or hide from it. I stole Ushimi Ange's family away from her. Badler is my toy. His father and mother are both my toys. I won't give them back to you. You may continue to wander all alone forever, awaiting the return of a family that will never come back. From Ange's arms that held him, the painful, sad days that had been experienced by his lonely little sister flowed into Badler. Because he'd been playing around in a place like this, his little sister had been left all alone by herself, had been forced to endure all that pain. Ange. Ange. Damn, what am I doing? Thanks, Ange. Your Oni-chan has been forgetting something important this whole time. Badler tried to turn around, but Ange was hanging onto his head with incredible force so he couldn't turn back. Was it sweat? Hot drops were splashing onto the nape of Badler's neck. What they were, he knew from holding Ange's arm that clung to him. Because it stained Badler's hand, his fingers red. Blood. Ange! Are you okay? Hey! It dripped and splashed. He didn't know what was going on. Badler didn't know because he couldn't turn around. But the hot drops that stained his entire back were surely blood. In order to save Oni-chan, in order to come here, there was a single rule I had to follow. This is it. Letting you, Oni-chan, know that I was Ange. It was so hard. Even though Oni-chan was right before my eyes, I couldn't even say that. As long as I followed this rule, I should have been able to stay by Oni-chan's side for all eternity. I should have been able to play in the game against the witch for eternity with Oni-chan. But that's no good. Oni-chan, you have to come back. Your sister's waiting for you at home. That person isn't me. But this way your sister will be saved. Ange! Ange! There's so much blood. So much. So much. He wanted to turn around, but Ange was gripping his head too tightly. However, judging by the blood that was pouring out and Ange's pain breathing, he realizes something seriously wrong was happening to her right now. Don't worry. I am only a piece. You know, in chess, they have this move called a sacrifice. What? Who cares about chess? Let's get you some first aid, quickly. Let go for a second, Ange. A sacrifice is an abandoned piece. For a tactical gain, you intentionally accept a loss and let a piece go. In chess, the ultimate goal is victory. So if it can bring you to victory in the end, there's nothing wrong with sacrificing a few individual pieces. Ange had coolly made a decision. She had been taught over and over again that she was a piece, not a player. In order to act like a piece and save Badler right now, she would have to become a sacrificial piece herself. Badler had to know. His purpose in this witch's game couldn't be something as abstract as finishing off the witch. He had to win this game, release himself, and bring his family back home. Why? Because he had family, a little sister who was waiting for him to come home. A being was created so that Ushimi Ange's voice could reach you. That's me, Ange Beatrice. I'll sacrifice the piece I am to give to you the will to fight, to give you purpose. My purpose isn't to play with you in a witch's game for all eternity. I came to bring you Ushimi Ange's mourning and sadness. That is my unshakable purpose. Ange! Ange! Ah! The white, thin arm that held Badler became pale and transparent, almost like wax. And even so, the fresh blood stained it so cruelly. I will disappear now. But Oni-chan, fight with all you've got. And I'm sure you will come back to me. I'll be waiting. Always. I planned on helping you out a lot more than this. But I couldn't do anything. Sorry. Don't worry about that. You taught me, didn't you? You taught me why I have to win. And that I've got to win for certain and come back to you. What am I doing lazing about in a place like this? Yeah, I won't play around anymore. Because I'll come back. I'll come home. I'll definitely come home. Bring a souvenir, I promise. I don't need one. So promise me one thing. What? I'll promise anything. In a second, I'm going to let go of this hand. It hurt, didn't it? Sorry. I held it so tightly. I'm okay. So you don't have to turn around. So in the end, let me see the coolest part of you. Oni-chan, rise from your seat, point at the witch before your eyes, and announce that the game will start up again. Ange's hand slid and disappeared from behind me. There were bloody fingerprints left behind, blurred by her fingernails, but I turned around right away to take care of Ange's wounds. Ange! Ange. Aw, crap, and you even promised you wouldn't turn around. Ange. Where? Behind my chair, it was as though about 10 watermelons packed with blood had been smashed, and there was a sticky, pulpy mountain. And around that mountain of blood and minced meat, the clothes and shoes Ange had been wearing lay crumpled as though they'd been taken off and thrown away. As though just a human's insides had been pulverized and tossed there like scrap. As though Ange, who had been standing there until a second ago, had been crushed. Ange? Where's Ange? Where did Ange disappear to? Hey! Where did Ange go? The two young-looking witches said nothing, and just silently looked at the mountain of blood and meat and clothes. But I didn't want to accept it. I definitely didn't want to accept it. I was right in front of you. I was watching the whole time. Watching what happened to Ange behind you. Do you know? Where did Ange go? While she still lived, pinch by pinch, massive red-hot pincers tore chunks of flesh the size of a thumb off her and threw them away. I was watching. I saw as countless cruel tools burned red-hot in the witch's furnace approached Ange from behind and one bit at a time pecked at her, and twisted her, ripping chunks off her and tore her to pieces. Anne should be proud. In order to share some last words with her brother, she stopped herself from gasping at that pain until the very end. As if something like that could have happened. But on top of that mountain of flesh and clothes, what had fallen there was without a doubt what she had been wearing on her head, those pink jeweled hair ornaments. To be honest, I thought they were a little too childish for her and didn't suit her, so I remembered them well. Why did Ange wear such cheap hair ornaments all the time? No, the thought that this is Ange couldn't possibly be. You're pretty blunt, Bito. Badler didn't see it, so you could have just said she turned into butterflies and flew away or something. You guys also saw that happen. You saw Ange get torn into little bits. You were watching, and yet you stayed so calm the whole time. Without answering, Bern Castell, Lambda Delta, and Beatrice stared at me, some in pity, others in derision watching me. Since she'd called herself Gretel, and after what happened with Virgilia in the last game, I thought she might be Bito's underling, and I'd been wary of her, not trusting her even though she was an ally. And now, after learning that it truly was Ange, without even being allowed to see her face, I turned around and find something like this. Why does it matter? All this about your little sister. What did you say? After all, you'll never return from this place, for all eternity anyway. Whatever happens to your little sister in a world where you don't come home has nothing to do with you. As long as you play here, the Anges of countless worlds will live in isolation, and the same pain of her final moments just now will be forced upon her, spread over a period of more than a decade. However, that is of no importance, correct? It cannot be seen by you from here. You cannot observe it. An unobservable fact cannot be proven except by the red truth. Therefore, your anxiety over Anne's misfortune after this may be needless. She might surprisingly be able to live a casual life without ever having to work, thanks to Rudolph's inheritance, right? That's a lie. From Ange's arm, every part of that sad future world had poured into me in an instant. All because I keep on lazing about forever. And playing in a place like this. I never thought about anyone but myself. I must defeat her. I'll take back my family, back to where Ange is waiting, and come home as soon as I can. Because even as I hang around with a witch like this, Ange's heart continues to be torn to bits by sadness. Ange, is this what you want to see? I turned towards the cruel witch who had indifferently spoke of Ange's brutal last moments and slowly, yet with all my might, pointed. Beatrice. Indeed. Resume this game. I won't run away anymore, and I won't let you escape. Bring it on. I can no longer escape or hide. Let us decide this between you and me for good. One shall win. One shall lose and be destroyed. No other resolution can exist. I'll win. No matter how long it takes, I'll definitely smash you. There aren't going to be any more compromises, interruptions, or losses by default in this contest. I won't run away. I won't let you get away. Try and defeat me with everything you got. There's absolutely no need for stupid tricks and deceit, for intermingling and acting friendly. You and I are enemies. I have to settle this as soon as possible and bring my family back to Ange. Unwavering resolve. Certain willpower. The certain willpower of a human becomes certain magical power. That leads to a miracle, and promises that it shall be so. Yes, this is a promised certain miracle. Are my chances of victory not even 1 in a billion? No. Shall it be certainly impossible without any fragment of a miracle? Before I knew it, a cold, stiff chain had bound my other leg without a sound, tying me to the chair. All that's left is to either be killed and lose to Bandler, or resist and continue in an endless tie for all eternity. Or perhaps I should say, it's to continue trying until I prepared my heart for death. Either way, I must fight to lose and nothing more. I've already been bound by the chains of eternity, and Battler won't let me escape either. Should I pathetically beg his forgiveness? Should I beg for compassion by appealing to his pitying heart? Should I forget appearances and prostrate myself? Because of the chains, even that choice will not be granted me. Checkmate. This is a perfect stranglehold. However, I am the Golden Witch Beatrice, the demon lord of gold who reigns in the Golden Land. Even if fight to lose, there is an attitude fitting for me, and I have the right to adorn my death in a manner suited to me. I'm no different. I'll make you accept the existence of my magic, and the door to the Golden Land will open on this island. You shall become the guest of honor at that first tea party. Everyone besides you is gathered already, you see. Because the honored guest's arrival has been delayed, the tea party cannot begin. Your father, mother, cousins, and everyone else are getting tired of waiting for your arrival. Sure, that's perfect. That's just perfect. What the hell is magic and what the hell are witches? I'm done playing with you. Here we go, Beatrice. Come as hard as you can, but there'll be no compromise, interruptions, or losing by default. Hey Evie, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for following me. Thanks for being a froggy friend. Hope you're having a good day and sit back and relax. One shall win and one shall be destroyed. If you have no desire to lose, then you must defeat me. Kill me. However, I won't be killed so easily. Until you can prepare a fitting end for me, I can resist over and over again. Can you do that? No, you probably can. You surely can. Come on, come and kill me. Is it that hard? Let's go with the usual. As if I'd be killed. Even if I can't win, I can at least harass you enough to stop you from snatching victory, right? Oh, that's a good look on your face. Try and kill me. Try and kill me, Ushimi Battler. Got a new achievement for Ange. Golden Witch has prepared a gift for you in commemoration. Please check it on the content screen. That was riveting. But we're not done yet, because we still have a tea party for episode 4. So usually the tea parties are epilogues for all the chapters. This tea party is different. It is actually a continuation, and it leads into the Answers arc, which is episode 5 to 8. But this tea party is quite lengthy, so I'm going to save it for Friday's stream. It will conclude the true ending of the Questions arc, and show Battler and Beatrice's final confrontation for this episode. Don't miss it. It's gonna be intense. Since we finished Octopath Traveler 2, or finished in the meantime, that means the Umineko episode 4 episodes are gonna be uploaded to YouTube starting from, I guess, 2 days from now, because tomorrow the last episode of Octopath 2 is gonna come up on YouTube. So we'll have, if you just found my streams, or if you don't know what Umineko is, the complete series will be up on my YouTube channel. Although episodes 1 to 3 are already up on my YouTube as well. We are 71 hours into this visual novel. I've been reading this visual novel for 71 hours, starting from back in October. That's like 6 months. That's intense. The answers arc is slightly shorter than the questions arc, but it's still... I think it's still going to take me 6 months to get through. But it's been a really long time. It's been like probably 10 years or more since I've read these visual novels, and they are just as good as I remember them. I was like about to start... Like, I could feel like my eyes watering when Ange was hugging Battler at the end there, and I don't usually get emotional. I think it's because I was trying to like read the lines at the same time. Maybe I'm like method acting, I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of satisfying to see what happened to Kasumi and her goons. Although, I forgot that that scene was so long. Like, she had Ange, like, pinned down by her bodyguards for like an hour, and then they went through all that backstory, which is like, it's useful backstory, and it really brought out the emotions towards like Aunt Ava and Aunt Rosa and Kasumi, but it was just like, I forgot how long it was. Also, like I mentioned this before, like if you're new to the series and you want like a cliff notes of it, there is an anime. The anime only covers episodes 1 to 4. It covers it in the span of 26 or 25 episodes, which of course is a lot shorter than 72 hours or 71 hours, but it does get the cliff notes across. I mean, die-hard Umineko fans don't like the anime because there's a lot of censoring of the bloody parts, and they skip over a lot of the details, but honestly, it gives you the point. There's a manga. The manga is kind of like an in-between of the anime and the visual novel, because it goes faster paced than the visual novel, but it still retains a lot of the writing from the visual novel. I actually started by reading the manga when I first started this series, and that's what got me into reading it, or watching it. But I know it seems like a lot of weird magic mumbo-jumbo, but it is a murder mystery at its heart. It's about Battler trying to uncover what happened during the murder mystery on the island, and trying to prove to Beatrice that it was done by a human and not a witch. So we didn't see too much of the murder mystery part today, but if you like Zero Escape, Ace Attorney, or Danganronpa, it has a lot of elements. In fact, Battler's character design is inspired by Phoenix Wright. That's why he does the pointing animation, and he has the spiky hair too. Anyways, I think that's enough talking for now. I am all voiced out. We will continue on Friday. Taking a break tomorrow, picking this up on Friday, and then we'll go through episode 4 Tea Party and episode 4 question mark, question mark, question mark. And it's really interesting the way they build up the magic and the build up the world building up to this point. Like, we haven't seen this much magic yet until now. And the rules behind it in this world are fascinating. And it's part of the mystery, is also trying to figure out what exactly those rules are and when do they apply and what. Let's look at Twitch, see if anyone's around, or a raid. Who should we raid? You know what? Let's raid Kieran again. He's playing the Great Ace Attorney. Thank you so much again for coming to the stream. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Thank you for listening to me read for so long, and I will see you guys on Friday. Take care, guys. Stick around for a raid. Bye-bye.